Got a second edition of the College Football Playoff Rankings to react to start the show, and we will do so here in just a moment. Good morning. Hope you're having a great start to your Wednesday. It's a beautiful day in Middle Tennessee. Lucas was even willing to not wear a jacket today because it was over 55 degrees. Soft.
My kind of winter.
Yeah, your kind of winter. Robert, Lucas, and me with you until 1 o'clock. We will have Adam Sparks of the Knoxville News Sentinel. Vols were on a bye, as were the Titans, so we'll check in on Rocky Top, see what's going on. I also keep getting notifications about this A.J. Brown thing. Which, I don't know. Is that worth it to spend any time on the fact that he's on a 7-2 team, but he's miserable because he's not getting targets?
No.
Okay. We don't have to do that. Maybe in the headlines is where we can address that, because we will do headlines today. Robert, do I have things to give away for the dumbest thing in sports? Do I have more? This mountain of Matt Rife tickets that apparently the radio station cannot get rid of fast enough. Do I have more Matt Rife tickets?
No Matt Rife this time. You've got OAR, which Lucas is a big fan of.
In middle school, that was my jam.
Crazy game of poker guy, are you?
Is that an OAR song?
Isn't it?
I have no clue. I called him OR the first day.
I only remembered like 2 songs that I was jamming in middle school, and then Robert played some, and I was like, it's not as good as I remember.
Yeah, sing us some more. Sing us some of that OR.
No, it just turns into me sounding like Hootie.
That's okay. Go ahead. I'd like to hear that.
Yeah,
That one song. You've heard the song. He goes, this town, this city, this town.
Okay,
You know what I'm talking about.
Words that you
know what I'm talking about.
I don't. I've never heard that song in my life.
You can't sound like anything when you're just kind of grunting into the microphone.
So we've got OAR tickets.
Yes.
Okay, very good. So we will do that at 11 o'clock. You can think about what the dumbest thing in sports this week is for a little less than an hour. And at 11 o'clock, you will have the opportunity to win those tickets if you so choose. Nothing really traumatic about the college football playoff unless you're an ACC program, which we'll talk about here in just a second. The top 5 unchanged. At the top of the ranking, of course, is Ohio State, then Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, and Georgia are the top 5.
Yes.
You look like you had something to say otherwise?
No.
Okay, very good.
I was just looking at Robert.
And I was looking back at you. I was looking back at you.
I know that's not true because you literally have to turn your entire body around to be able to look at Robert because the two of you talk over each other so much.
Robert does have some explaining to do as this show's ACC truther.
Well, let's get to that here in just a second. But the only thing that surprised me is that Indiana didn't get leapfrogged by Texas A&M. I thought for sure that Indiana, and I understand that it was a dramatic way to win and that it was a fun ending to a football game and that there's awesome things that are being accomplished that football program has never accomplished before, winning at Happy Valley in that spot, having potentially a top pick at quarterback in that football program, making the kind of play that he and the wide receiver did at the end of that game. But
I even know his name.
Omar something. Cooper?
Omar
Cooper?
Yes. Jr.
Nailed it.
He is his father's son.
All right, eat it. I really thought that A&M just dusting Missouri.
A ranked Mizzou on the road.
A ranked Missouri team was going to see Indiana get leapfrogged. I honestly am surprised that Texas A&M isn't the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah, I agree. I think the metrics, everything that the committee says it is touting and focusing on this year would indicate that A&M should be number 1, but then the committee turns around and says, yeah, but Ohio State just looks better. Like, I also think Indiana has a better resume than Ohio State at this point. Ohio State, the biggest feather in their cap is what they did against Texas early in the year. Top 10 team, okay. Indiana has a far better win than that, in my opinion, going on the road and beating number 8 Oregon the way that they did.
Who almost lost. Did you watch any of that Iowa game? It was disgusting.
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. Look, you can look at it as Oregon almost lost to Iowa. I look at it as Oregon went to Iowa in the driving, freezing rain and out-Iowa'd Iowa.
Yeah, it's a
that
good way
is
to
a
look
credit
at
to
it.
Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks and Dante Moore coming up with some big throws.
What was it, 18
in that last
to
drive.
16 final? Something nasty. Just gnarly football.
It was setting up for Iowa's quarterback, whose name is escaping me, to have this legendary legacy moment of a 93-yard game-winning drive. And it flipped to where Dante Moore ended up getting that moment, making some incredible throws down the stretch to set up the game-winning field goal. But you can make an argument for Indiana being number one, A&M being number one, and Ohio State being number one. In the end, it doesn't matter a ton. Like, these are the things that we discuss because it's at the top of the rankings. But Ohio State, Indiana are going to meet in the Big Ten championship game in all likelihood and are both going to be in. Texas A&M is in the driver's seat to go to the SEC championship, regardless of what happens in Atlanta, assuming they're there. They're going to be in. That stuff doesn't matter as much. We can nitpick on who should be 1, 2, and 3. But I would like an explanation from Robert about his ACC.
So just if you haven't seen the college football playoff rankings, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Oregon, Notre Dame, Texas, Oklahoma, and BYU are the top 12. Miami comes in at number 15, as if I'm not mistaken, the highest-ranked ACC program.
Which is a farce. It's a farce. 2 losses over Georgia Tech. Come on, just because they lost to NC State. Miami lost to SMU, who lost to Penn State. What are we doing? Just because you like Carson Beck? You got a real
People don't like Carson
You got
Beck.
a real stiff one for Miami and their recruiting class. This is bull crap. Georgia Tech should be in over them. And I think it'll work itself out.
Who's Georgia Tech's best win?
It's a good question.
That's tough.
I'm asking genuinely. I'm not doing a thing.
No, I think you're not asking genuinely. I think you're being a real piece of crap here. And if you wanted to poke holes through it, you could be like, well, they had a short, a small win over Wake Forest, 30-29.
No, they beat. I mean, I know we know what Clemson is now, but Clemson was ranked number 12 at the time.
Yeah, Clemson staring down the barrel of 5 and 7.
Yeah, same way Miami beat USL. Like, yeah, they beat a top 25 team. Who cares?
Miami has the win over Oregon. I mean, that's what they have.
And Notre Dame.
Duke's
Notre Dame,
not
right?
Terrible.
Or Notre Dame. I meant Notre Dame. I don't know why my mouth said Oregon. My brain said Notre Dame.
Your SEC mind can't comprehend having teams in other conferences that are viable. I don't think it's going to matter because
What's
when
Duke's record right now?
they're 5-5.
They have a path to the ACC championship game.
No, they don't. They do
it's
not.
feasible.
Manny Diaz
It
is not
could
going to the
happen.
ACC championship.
But it just made me laugh because Miami, being the highest-ranked ACC team, even though they're not technically in the top 12, are in the bracket as of right now because the highest-ranked, 5 highest-ranked conference champions get in. So
It's a broken bracket.
yes. So Miami doesn't even control its own destiny.
No.
If things hold, they won't even be in the ACC championship
Tell
game.
'em.
So it did crack me up to see Miami in the bracket when they need other things to happen to even have a chance to play for a spot in the bracket. They just happen to be the highest ranked team in the ACC. Right now, at the top of the ACC standings are Georgia Tech and Virginia. Now, Georgia Tech will have an opportunity for a marquee win when they host Georgia.
Well, and Pittsburgh.
And Pittsburgh, yes. They close out the season against Pitt and Georgia at home.
2 big wins they're going to have.
If they
Probably
run
be top
that
5
table,
team.
yeah, man. Well, then maybe not top 5,
No,
but
they'd probably be top 5.
definitely top 10.
Definitely top 4. Definitely top 5. All I'm going to say is Haynes King, Georgia Tech, they are not getting the love they deserve. I appreciate that they have an ACC school in there because it wouldn't surprise me for y'all to just be like, oh, we're not going to put anybody in here. But I think it's all going to work itself out and probably have a 3-team ACC bid.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, Georgia loses. Georgia loses to Georgia Tech.
How many did the SEC get in last year?
3.
Wasn't it a huge deal for the SEC to get 3 in last year? You think this year's ACC is going to have 3
I
teams?
think
Yeah,
it was
you
kind of
just wait.
disappointing for the SEC to only get 3 in last
Yeah,
year.
I think they'll be disappointed this year again. When you're looking at Miami, Virginia, I can't even say it. I'm sorry. You're right. It's a 2-bid league. Yep.
It is a one league.
No, 2 are getting in. You're going to
not-
stop poo-pooing all over the ACC.
The only scenario.
Why do you care?
I have a hard time even.
Your alma mater is not an ACC football team. You hate North Carolina, who, by the way, stacking wins.
Hey.
Bill Belichick.
Coming up on 3 straight if they can win this
What are you
weekend.
doing with your hands there?
Should be 4 straight. They should have beat UVA.
They could
6,
probably
7.
end with 6 or 7 wins.
Ooh, if they go to a bowl game, right on track.
Why do I care about the ACC?
Yes.
Because this is a bit. It's a farce. I don't really give a rip about any of these teams. As long as the
thank God.
Pirates make it in when they take on Memphis. That's all that matters.
ECU's got a path to the
Is
playoff.
beating Memphis this weekend.
Nobody's talking about this.
No, nobody.
Memphis is gettable.
They're the only team in North Carolina receiving votes in the top 25 in the coaches poll where their coach has a vote. They're the only team in North Carolina.
So what do they need to happen? Because the American is just all jumbled at the top here. Navy 5-1 at the top, then USF, Tulane, North Texas, and ECU all tied at 4-1. Memphis is 4-2. So there are a litany of teams that could get into the American Conference Championship, win it, and be the highest-ranked G5 team that gets an automatic bid to the college football playoff.
Here's what ECU needs to happen. ECU needs to beat Memphis. I've already done the whole red wires across the walls. ECU needs to beat Memphis this weekend.
Red wires across
Navy
the walls.
needs to beat USF. UAB needs to beat North Texas, and FAU needs to beat Tulane. That would be the ECU rooting guide for the weekend to get ECU into the playoffs for the right to get shellacked by somebody.
By Georgia as the 5 seed.
We would boss up on. No, we would get dog walked.
I would love that. ECU in the playoff would be great for the show.
I don't know. I wouldn't be here. I would go. I would be down there the whole weekend.
Well, I will say this to wrap the bow on the ACC thing.
Thank God.
The only way the ACC gets 2 in the playoffs.
Oh, so there's a way.
Is if Miami wins out and gets some help to get them into the ACC championship, Georgia Tech wins out and has those quality wins against Pitt and Georgia, and then there could be a world where Miami and Georgia Tech meet in the ACC championship game and both get into the playoff regardless of how the ACC championship plays out. If Georgia Tech beats Georgia and loses in the ACC championship game, I don't think they're going to get punished by being knocked out of the playoff after beating a top 5 Georgia. And same with Miami. If they go 10-2 and lose the ACC championship game, they'll have that win against Notre Dame. It could
The
be
path is
interesting.
clear.
And that would not be good news for Vanderbilt.
Can we talk about some things that actually matter?
Or
It was a great night of college basketball. Did you watch that Louisville-Kentucky game?
I caught the second half. I got home from my soccer game, which we won, by the way. We can't lose right now.
This freshman that Louisville has scares me.
Speaking of things that really matter.
Oh, did you come out of that without injury?
I did. Bumps and bruises.
playing through it.
Bumps and bruises like any great athlete.
You're really not going to let me talk about college
Nobody is
basketball,
100. No, you know what?
We've won the last
I feel like,
4
no, come on.
in
we
all
do
competitions.
We do this to him all the time.
It's all I want.
What game did you watch last night, buddy?
I watched the Louisville. Get down. The Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you if you are struggling with performance issues, just like they have helped guys for over a decade get back to peak performance. They have all manner of different treatment options that can put you in position to succeed. And it's easy to get frustrated about it in real time, but the worst thing that you could possibly do is procrastinate. You want to make sure that these things are not inevitable, and the Tennessee Men's Clinic is here to help you with that, because erectile dysfunction can wreck your confidence. It can impact your relationship, your mental health, and even your sense of identity. Too many guys rely on pills that don't work or come with nasty side effects. There are better treatments. Sometimes it's a combination of those treatments that finally unlock the results that you've been missing. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes a full medical consultation, blood work, and if medically advised, a test dose right there in the office. So call them today at 615-208-9090. That's 615-208-9090 or book easily online at TennesseeMen'sClinic.com.
It's time for NFL headlines with Lucas Panzica.
Well, a lot of folks got their wish waking up to the news this morning that Jameis Winston is going to start for the New York Football Giants against the Green Bay Packers on Sunday. It was maybe the funniest quarterback room in the NFL when the season started. Jameis, Russ, Jackson, Dart. We saw Russ. We've seen Dart. He is now a concussion protocol. So it is Jameis Winston's time to start another game in the NFL.
I mean, we're all lucky for it, right? If you have to watch the Giants, if the
Absolutely.
Giants have to play in games of consequence against teams that actually matter, and right now the Packers do matter.
I was going to say, given how, I don't know, lifeless the Packers have been offensively, who's to say that a Jameis Winston-led offense can't outscore the current state of the Green Bay Packers?
Well, no, if you lose to the Panthers, who Bryce Young feels like he throws for 125 yards every game and they're trying to rush for 200 every game, and the Browns this year, then you absolutely reserve the right to lose to Jameis Winston. Now, Jameis Winston's last appearance, obviously, was a starting quarterback, was the Cleveland Browns. It was a loss, a 35-10 loss against Robert Walsh's Baltimore Ravens.
He went 2-5 as the starter for Cleveland last year.
But he was so much fun.
He was fun.
Oh, it's delightful.
13 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Like last year, we got a pretty quintessential Jameis experience.
I more Jameis in my life at all times. I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if it probably wouldn't have made a difference for Daboll if he had gone with Jameis instead of Russ in these moments where he's had to take Dart out of the game, because there's, the logic is that Daboll in part got fired because they felt like he continued to put Dart in harm's way. Which, by the way, promoting Mike Kafka, what does that fix about that? Unless you're going to tell Mike Kafka, now we'll fire you too, unless you start taking these quarterback power plays out of the playbook on 1st and 10, you dopes.
Yeah, the famous interim head coach.
I mean, it's never happened, right? We were talking about that after the Colts game here. But I look forward to watching Jameis Winston play football. I enjoy Jameis Winston. I would have actively advocated for Jameis Winston to be a backup here. If that was ever a potential, I would still love for Jameis Winston to be a backup here in the future if there is going to be opportunities for that. But by the way, I don't know if this is going to make it into your headline segment, but Will Levis is now throwing a football again with regularity.
I saw him post that on Instagram, that he is back to putting the ball in the air.
God knows he likes to post.
After his shoulder surgery. So, yes, that is a noon kickoff at MetLife Stadium. The 5-3-1 Packers at the 2-8 New York Giants. I really was hoping the Packers would find a way to kick that game-tying field goal and send it to overtime, because felt like a game ripe for a tie. Like that game was destined to be a tie.
Wasn't it 0-0 at the half?
Yes. It's the
What is wrong with you? Why do you want more football like that? Like, it's a rare thing when you get to a football game where you just actively want it to end, right? Because we spend so much time waiting for football in the offseason. And then when football finally gets here and you get a handful of gross games, you're like, all right, enough of this. So you get Packers, Eagles off my screen, which is, by the way, a sentence that if you told me I would say in April, I would have called you an insane person, because that should be an excellent game. Except it's not, because both of these coaches are scared to win, it seems.
The last time an NFL team had multiple ties in one season was 1973.
May it never happen again.
The Browns, Packers, Broncos, and Chiefs all finished with 2 ties that season. Now,
that same season?
Well, overtime was implemented literally the following year.
Okay.
So ties were a lot more commonplace, but that is the last time that a team had 2 in one season. So the Packers and Cowboys already have one. Joe Buck had a great moment on Monday Night Football where they brought up the last time a Monday Night Football game was scoreless at the half. It was a Ravens game, Robert. I can't remember the year. It was like 2004 or something was the last time, and it was like Ravens, I don't know, whoever. And Joe Buck was like, and who can forget that game? It was a good little quip. So, Robert, you wouldn't happen to remember.
That's not funny? That's not funny to you? Or are you busy doing something?
No. I'm always busy doing something, but I'll chuckle at that for you.
Thank you.
What a good note. The Ravens are actually going on a record they could break in 2027. No one cares about this but me. But right now, they're the longest team in NFL, active team right now that has not been shut out. They have not been shut out since 2003. And they would need to continue that streak into 2027 to break the 49ers game of 400 games or something like that.
Wow. That is impressive.
Saying that now they will score no points against the Browns this weekend. I'll chuckle at that.
if nothing else, Gabriel's going to throw you like a pick six because the lesser talked about situation, and I don't know if this has any place in the headlines or not, but the fact that Roquan Smith looks awesome coming back from injury, and the fact that Kyle Hamilton being able to do as many things as he does, like if the Ravens get good at defense in the middle of the season like this and just go on a run here, I'm going to be pissed.
Well,
even though we all picked them to win the Super Bowl.
And that's been the MO the last two seasons, is they struggle early and then make some changes and figure it out. But I need you to say that a little bit louder for all the Ravens fans, because everyone just calls Roquan fat. It's just a whole meme GIF culture about being like, oh, he's so fat.
Did they watch him on Sunday?
People
he was
will
awesome.
People will see like a picture of a cookout and be like, oh, don't show Roquan's fat ass. So I'm glad you get a little.
I feel that way about the two of you.
Come on.
So the way your face lit up when Lucas walked in this morning and said, I have beans.
And rice.
Rice and beans.
Rice and
My
beans.
mama's beans.
Dude, they're probably great.
Did you say something about an MO? It's been the Ravens' MO the last couple of years?
Yeah, he didn't say modus operandi.
Oh, I'm sorry. What does MO stand for?
What was your modus operandi in that moment will remain the weirdest question ever asked of somebody on this show.
What does MO stand for?
Mo issues. I don't know.
I rest my case. Jaguars rookie receiver and cornerback Travis Hunter. Travis Hunter is going to miss the rest of the season. He has undergone surgery on his right knee. That happened on Tuesday. He had the lateral collateral ligament repaired in Dallas.
Whoa.
And there was no additional damage to the knee. The team announced he is expected to return to full football activities within 6 months. This was an injury that happened during practice. It was non-contact, October 30th. So just a couple of weeks ago. And his ACL is intact. The damage was to the LCL. But still, Hunter goes down, and it immediately prompts a conversation about him playing both sides of the ball. We will never know if this had anything to do with him playing both sides of the ball. A non-contact injury can happen to any cornerback, can happen to any wide receiver in practice. But is that part of the discussion when we talk about Travis Hunter, who didn't really experience any injury issues whatsoever in college? Is that immediately, like, by default part of the discussion, him playing both sides and how the Jags are paying for that now because he's out for the season?
It happened in practice. It was non-contact. I don't know that he's got – it would be a reach if you wanted to make the argument that Travis Hunter experienced a non-contact knee injury in practice because of his usage.
Yeah, like there's no way to sit here and prove that, right?
That's not a thing, especially like you said it's LCL?
LCL.
So 28 receptions, just shy of 300 yards receiving, and 1 touchdown on the year. I'm upset. I was looking forward to. We haven't seen the Jags at any point so far this season against the Titans. Obviously, those 2 games are yet on the schedule, and I was looking forward to seeing Cam Ward versus Travis Hunter.
His last performance was his best on offense. 8 catches for 104 yards. His first NFL touchdown. That was in that blowout loss to the Rams in London. So his rookie year will end without having caught a single touchdown in the continental United States. But he was pretty much turning into their number 1 receiver, right? Brian Thomas Jr.
has missed some time.
Yeah, and he's had struggles, too. He's dealt with drops all season. So I think he had kind of dialed it back a little bit on his defensive snaps, and it looked like he was focusing more on a role on offense, and now he goes down.
That's unfortunate. You never like to see fun players get hurt. You don't like to see anybody get hurt, but was looking forward to seeing Travis Hunter in person late in the season, and obviously that will not be the case.
So the Jags' number 1 receiver in their loss to Houston, 36-29 on Sunday, was Jacoby Myers, who they literally just traded for. I mean, a few days after landing in Jacksonville from Vegas, he leads the team with only 3 catches for 41 yards. So that's kind of what they're working with right now. Unless Brian Thomas Jr. can come back to full health and full performance, Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington as wide receivers 1 and 2 in Jacksonville. It's not a great situation over there.
Although Parker Washington had himself a day, boy, and the only reason I know that is because he won it for Team Auto Draft in the Titans Media League. He had a punt return touchdown. He had a hell of a toe tap receiving touchdown as well. Parker Washington doing a lot of heavy lifting for that Jags offense.
Yet still, the Jags are 5-4 with a winning record.
The injury gods giveth, the injury gods take away. Brenton Strange activated for his 21-day practice window off of injured reserve for them, who was their starting tight end at the beginning of the year, getting some help back in place of Travis Hunter going to injured reserve.
Okay, there you go. Philadelphia Eagles cornerback Jair Alexander has decided to step away from football. His focus right now is getting right physically and mentally. That is what he communicated to the team, according to the Eagles. He did have an off-season knee surgery, but he was healthy. He was just traded to Philly from Baltimore. And the Eagles today placed him on the reserve retired list and activated a cornerback, Jacorian Bennett, from IR. Jair Alexander, only 28 years old. He was released by the Packers last offseason, picked up by Baltimore, and then summarily traded to Philly for a late-round pick swap, Robert?
I think it was a 2026 sixth for a 2027 seventh.
Correct. That is what it was. And promptly is placed on the reserve retired list.
Go ahead and get your Howie Roseman slander out.
Dude, the guy is just thought of as the general manager to end all general managers. And when he finally gets got, he goes to the yard sale. He's like, "Oh, are these socks for sale?" And they're like, "Yes, these are for sale. I would pay you $1." And they go, "Fine with us." And then he puts the sock on, there's poop inside. Like, Howie got poop socked. It happens. Sometimes when you go to yard sales and you try to buy something.
When does it happen unless it's your friend group giving your proclivity to fecal matter jokes?
I don't know how often you buy socks at yard sales, but they will poop sock you in a heartbeat.
Yeah, but he's only out $1.
Okay.
How many times have the Titans paid $1,000 for a poop sock?
They're currently dealing with him. He's just been indicted for failure to report.
I mean, just with first-round picks alone.
That's our $1. Thank you. It's our $1.
What are the Ravens going to use that $1 for?
Oh, who knows? Probably a punter or a fullback.
No, probably a pass rusher that in 5 years from now the Titans will pay $100 million. He'll play 8 games and nobody will hear from him again.
The Titans never signed Matthew Judon. Howie got ran over on, but it makes sense. He was casting a wide net. I like to poo-poo Howie just because everyone thinks he's the best in the world at everything he does, and all the general managers are scared to trade him because they don't want to get got. But he cast a wide net on the secondary position, trading for Michael Carter from the Jets, trading pennies for Jair Alexander. I just think it's funny that you get a little something for nothing. That's always great.
I would understand that if I was a Ravens fan because Eric DeCosta doesn't get, I mean, how many people, I wonder, still think Ozzie Newsome runs the Ravens front office? And I know he's still working there in some capacity.
The fans are very aware it's Eric because they like to point out that while Eric has good depth and good team-filling drafts, he doesn't necessarily hit the superstar picks, which I would blatantly disagree with. If you look at his first draft, he drafted Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, Orlando Brown Jr., and Nnamdi Madubuike.
Well, Hayden Hurst is also in there, but he wasn't a bad player.
That's okay. I mean, he wasn't. They traded him to the Atlanta Falcons for a second-round pick. Yeah. So, I mean, they ended up getting their squeeze out of that lemon, too.
This went under the radar.
Hey, quickly, are you going to move on from Eagles stuff?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about this A.J. Brown thing?
Oh, A.J. Brown is complaining on one of these famous, not famous people's video game streams that he's miserable and everything is terrible now.
It's a bleep show, he said.
Yeah.
Of the 7-2
Eagles. The Super Bowl contending, NFC East leading Philadelphia Eagles.
Potential back-to-back Super Bowl champions in Philadelphia Eagles because he's got 400-plus yards receiving and he's not happy about it. I love A.J. for that. Anyway, proceed.
So, this has gone under the radar. Quietly, Dan Campbell took over play calling duties for the Detroit Lions in their demolishing of the Commanders, where they put up 44 points. Jared Goff went 25 of 33 for 320 and 3 touchdowns. They rushed for 226 yards in a 44-22 win. Lions are 6-3. They are atop of the heap in the NFC North. And Dan Campbell, meathead, biting kneecaps, Dan Campbell, is out here drawing up the plays. So has this gone... In terms of week one as a liar, the week one matchup between Packers and Lions, the most week one as a liar matchup in recent memory, where the Packers were crowned as bona fide Super Bowl contenders, and the Lions had a big old slump in the post-Ben Johnson / Aaron Glenn era. And here are both teams now, both with winning records, but it's the Lions that are kind of surging at this point with Dan Campbell taking over play calling.
you also have to think about how much hype was around the Packers because of what happened in week 1.
Oh, it's
right?
fresh off the Micah Parsons
Right.
trade.
So people are losing their minds. Jerry Jones is a dog, like all these different things. The Packers are going straight to the ship, and Detroit is suffering from brain drain because they lost both of their coordinators. But Dan Campbell got the job done. I don't think it went under the radar because so much was made about Dan Campbell putting on the glasses. He put on the glasses to call the plays because he couldn't see the play sheet. He's got his readers on while he's trying.
And they're like at the tip of his nose.
Oh, yeah. No, he's clearly looking down the end of his nose like half moon monocle style with his glasses to call the plays. But he did a great job. And they started a little slow in that game, but then, as Lucas mentioned, proceeded to just absolutely stomp the Commanders, who, I don't know. That game, to me, did not feel like Washington's offense didn't have enough. They just couldn't stop Detroit at all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know that Marcus Mariota and Traylon Burks go out there and beat the Lions if the defense can stop a nosebleed. But it was an embarrassing performance on defense by Washington.
Yeah, their season is just kind of slipping away at this point. They're 3-7. That's right. And they go to Madrid to play the Dolphins, who are coming off a win.
The surging
impressive
Miami
win
Dolphins
against Buffalo. But, Washington's season has not gone according to plan in year 2 of the Jaden Daniels era as he's sidelined with that elbow injury. By the way, Lions up next go to Philly Sunday Night Football this weekend. That has potential to be a really good primetime game to clean up the mess that was primetime football this past weekend.
Oh, so bad. All 3 primetime games, just wretched.
We have some really crucial divisional games this weekend. We've got in the late afternoon slate, Seahawks at Rams, 2 7-2 teams in the NFC West. We've got Chiefs at Broncos, also in the late afternoon slate. Big game in the AFC West. And obviously Sunday Night Football, Lions at Eagles. Not a divisional game, but big game in the NFC.
For sure.
Ooh, Bengals at Steelers, too. Speaking of go ahead.
Do you think that game dictates anything about Joe Burrow's comeuppance?
I was about to bring that up.
Because...
Okay, go ahead.
In his press conference yesterday, he was asked about, so Jay Glazer reporting that you're targeting the Ravens game. He says, we'll see. And other people are alluding to that he would be trying to be coming back in a week against the Buffalo Bills. I wonder if you guys think that if they lose to the Steelers and the Bills, that would put any damper on his return, or, as he stated, it would just be good business for him to come back.
They're currently 3-6.
If they lose to Pittsburgh, if I'm Zach Taylor, there is no circumstance in which I'm putting Joe Burrow back out there. Like, just to get his ass kicked and potentially injured again and then set you back for another season. Now, maybe Zach Taylor gets fired and it doesn't matter. And Zach Taylor may be in a situation where he's coaching for his job. There's not been a lot of noise around Zach Taylor other than, turns out, firing Lou Anarumo doesn't fix your defense. If it was me, I would have a hard time putting Joe Burrow out on the field whenever if they lose to the Steelers, who are clearly not a good football team.
It's tough because only 2 games out of the lead right now. So even if they did win, they would only be a game out, technically tied with the Ravens, depending on the barring of that game. But they do own the tiebreaker over the Steelers. So they already beat them 33-31 earlier in the season. So if they won a second one, that would be a little stat pad to where if the Steelers did end up winning the division or at least leading the division, you would own the tiebreaker over them in that instance.
Meanwhile, I just got a notification from Pro Football Talk where Kevin Stefanski is fielding questions about Deshaun Watson coming back in 2025. Buh.
You don't have a choice.
Can you imagine if the Titans go to Cleveland here in, a month? Little more than a month, I think.
That's the next reclamation project, Deshaun Watson.
Don't make me watch Deshaun Watson.
Him, Kenny Pickett, Mac Jones, all of those guys are getting good next year. Haven't you guys watched the last 2 seasons?
Oh, my God.
Finally, this weekend is, we mentioned, Dolphins Commanders in Madrid. It is the last overseas international game of the NFL season. So you will wake up with NFL football on your Sunday morning starting at 8:30, but it is the last time that will be the case. I also meant to bring this up on Friday Fire a couple weeks ago. Remember that offseason news that Michigan was playing Western Michigan in Germany? Mm-hmm. Well, they have canceled that. They have put out a statement saying that game will actually be in Ann Arbor. Makes sense. Surprising that there wasn't much of an appetite for Michigan versus
was
Western
it a ticket
Michigan.
Sales thing?
I have no idea. Michigan put out a statement last week saying we explored playing an international game in Frankfurt, but decided to keep the game in Ann Arbor.
Don't worry. What's the Big 12 commissioner's name?
Brett Yormark?
Yeah, he'll pick it up.
Yeah.
They'll go play a game in Germany.
They'll send Texas Tech over there. They got tortillas in Germany that they can throw on the field.
They won't let them throw it on the field in Lubbock.
They'll be throwing brats.
Those frauds, BYU got exposed.
They did get exposed.
That Texas Tech game, that was a definitive, we are out here to kick people's asses.
Put the clamps down.
I could have told you that was coming after BYU played ECU so close that last time.
It was really close.
Don't look at the score.
No reason. Don't
look at the score.
No reason to look at the
It was
final.
definitely closer than the score indicates.
BYU's not technically out of it. They have one loss. They could still win the Big 12 feasibly. But, after watching that, I don't have much faith. And it's a shame because I would love to see a quarterback with the name Bear Bachmeier wearing number 47 in the college football playoff. There's nothing I would like more.
Yeah, nobody else wants that. All right, very good. SEC observations are next. The holiday season is already upon us. It's still not too late to check this year's financial resolution off your list. Give Trajan Wealth a call today to start achieving your financial goals. They're there to help you succeed in whatever your financial strategy is. If you think you have things in good shape, give Trajan Wealth a call. They'll give your plan a second look, and it may turn out that there are some big opportunities that you're missing. They will give you a clear path to retirement and, frankly, way more peace of mind. They're fiduciaries, which means they'll put your needs first. You will trust them with your future once they show you how you should proceed. Call Trajan Wealth today at 615-270-5000. That's 615-270-5000, online at TrajanWealth.com. 2 locations here in Middle Tennessee, Brentwood and Franklin. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. This is a paid advertisement.
could have planned better for this, but Robert, could you do something? Could you, in some sort of voice, like pretend we have some sort of imaging to say the word eliminated? You know what I mean?
You just want me to say, like, in a funny voice or in a real voice?
No, like a big voice, like imaging.
Eliminated.
Yeah, like so. College football playoff update. The Missouri Tigers
Eliminated.
from the college football playoff race.
Surely we have something back there that would be funnier than Robert just grunting eliminated.
Eliminated.
Nothing
I
better
like
than that. Yeah. Like wasted, but from Grand Theft Auto, but eliminated.
No one says it, though. That
Yeah, I guess
noise,
not.
though. I can find the noise. Oh, hold on. You keep talking.
I want to do this every time an SEC team gets eliminated from the playoff discussion.
Oh, we got to do it for Tennessee, too, then.
Well, no,
yeah, I guess we do.
the way his body language just slumped
guess
when
we
he
do.
realized.
Speaking of,
Quickly, Marvin Harrison just recently underwent surgery for appendicitis and is out this week with the potential for additional weeks, according to Ian Rappaport.
that's tough. That is tough.
Proceed.
So, Oklahoma could be eliminated this weekend.
Wasted.
Hey, have you guys ever had appendicitis? I tried to play it for him.
Oh,
God, it's awful.
no, I have not.
It is awful. I didn't have mine removed. Super lucky.
Oh, really? You kept your appendix?
Yeah, they just drained it. They just stuck a big needle in there. That's where I learned about the McBurney point. Are you guys familiar with the McBurney point?
No.
It is 2 fingers above your belly button. If you ever think you're having an appendix attack or appendicitis, if you press on the McBurney point, it will cause pain where your appendix is. So that's the way you know if you have appendicitis. So it's like 2 fingers above your belly button. Just press there. And if it hurts, you have appendicitis.
I was convinced I had appendicitis that night that I had my issues in the press box calling the Nashville SC game.
Oh, where you called me from throwing up on the day? You were
Right, I guess
buddy,
so.
something's wrong with me.
Issues in the press box, meaning that he was going to yell goal and then almost yacked all over his broadcast.
Kept it very
It
professional.
was very scary. He was like, something's wrong with me. And then I just hear, meow, 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 meow. Him throwing up on the side of the highway.
I felt like alien. I felt like something was about to just burst out of my stomach. Anyway.
It's probably those taco stand jelly beans you kept eating.
So, Bama sends LSU packing. I thought that game was going to be a blowout, 20-9. It didn't feel that close at any point. LSU in this game benches Garrett Nussmeier. Florida, within the same half hour, benches DJ Lagway against Kentucky in an absolute mollywhopping, just destroyed in Lexington, 38-7. DJ Lagway, 3 interceptions. The 2 quarterbacks that were at the very top of just about every single preseason, you want to call it Heisman odds, NFL draft discussion. I guess not for Lagway. He's only a sophomore. But you get my point. It was Lagway, it was Nussmeier, and it was Lenora Sellers for the most part on who the best quarterbacks in the SEC were going to be this year. That has been far from the case. Kentucky, you have to tip the cap. What they've done under Mark Stoops this year, kind of turning it around, and if they can knock off Vandy and Louisville in upsets, could suddenly finish 7-5 with some momentum with Cutter Boley. But Lagway benched, Nussmeier benched. Georgia routs Mississippi State in a game that felt like it had an upset alert tinge to it. And Texas A&M just makes no bones about it. They go into Missouri and just destroy the Missouri Tigers. 38-17 the final. Didn't even feel that close in this game.
That Ben and I talked about it when you were out on Monday. Just the idea that Mississippi State looked like they were going to make it a game from that initial drive, where they're being more physical than Georgia at the point of the attack. They're punching it into the end zone and taking the early lead, and then it snowballed on them so fast.
Yeah, Martin Van Buren, by the way. Wait,
that's the president.
I'm Martin Van Buren.
I knew I was going to do that.
He loves squirrels.
Is that the
Michael Van Buren Jr. is the quarterback that replaced Garrett Nussmeier, former Mississippi State quarterback. He transferred from Mississippi State to LSU, but no, not the former U.S. president.
It would indeed be a news story if Martin Van Buren was quarterbacking the LSU Tigers.
Vanderbilt, 45-38 in overtime against Auburn. Diego Pavia smashes a career high. He was phenomenal in this game.
Yeah,
and Vandy, you recognized early, Vandy's just going to have to maybe win a shootout here when Auburn went up 14-3 and Vandy's down, 20-10 at halftime, and they needed their offense to wake up a little bit, and they did with 28 second half points. Diego Pavia, not only the career high 377 in the air, 25 of 33. He was extremely efficient in this game, too. 3 touchdowns, 100-plus yard performance with the touchdown. I feel like I can comfortably say that this was Diego Pavia's best-looking performance as a Vanderbilt Commodore against Auburn.
And the context that he did it without Eli Stowers for a period, because I don't know if you saw Eli Stowers got banged up in this game, missed some time. I don't remember.
Still ended up with 120-plus yards.
Yeah, no, he clearly contributed, but there was a point late in the game where Stowers had to be helped off the field and missed a few drives after that. So Pavia is, nobody, I don't know, are people still in the mode of doubting Pavia's legitimacy and just kind of being annoyed by the behavior and all these different things?
Well, I think it was fair in that first half of the season because Vanderbilt wasn't really relying on Diego Pavia the way they did last year. They were relying on their run game, their defense, and really the times Pavia popped up was when he was trying to do too much and turning the ball over against Alabama. But these last 2 weeks coming up short against Texas, but in a shootout win against Auburn, which people can scoff at. Auburn's 4-6. They've fired Hugh Freeze. That's a talented team. It's a talented Auburn football team in the trenches, in the skill positions. Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton were phenomenal in this game. Like, Cam Coleman was awesome. He's going to make whatever coaching staff gets to coach him next year at Auburn or elsewhere very, very happy. 143 yards and a touchdown. And did you see the touchdown catch from Cam Coleman? The one-hander around him? Just ridiculous. He's
gnarly. Immediately, Titans fans started chirping about him on social media to discover that he's not draft eligible.
Not eligible yet.
That class when
absurd.
When Jeremiah Smith and
Ryan
Cam
Williams
Coleman and all these other players can come
at
out.
Alabama. It's crazy.
God, what?
I mean, it is
the timing for the Titans in their draft is just outrageous.
Yeah.
Outrageous.
It's going to be one of the best wide receiver drafts we've ever seen coming up in 2027. So, impressive win for Vanderbilt. I was really impressed. I don't care how bad Auburn's been this year. It's a talented team that was having that interim coach bump. We've seen elite teams have to survive subpar teams all season. We've seen that. So why now do we start using it against Vanderbilt when we just watched Georgia have to gut out a win against Florida, who turned around and got spanked by Kentucky in Lexington last weekend? So this was a gut check, impressive win by Vanderbilt. Bye week comes at a good time here as they gear up for back-to-back games against Kentucky and Tennessee to close out the season.
All right, very good. We have things to give away?
We do.
Remind me?
Yes.
What did you say? Not Matt Rife tickets. Oh, OAR. All right.
That's OAR.
That's the OAR song you like?
Yeah.
Not Crazy Game of Poker?
In 8th grade, that's the song I liked.
That's such a weird OAR song.
Someone said that was what ESPN was using on the College World Series coverage, like in Omaha. Like, this town.
Nobody ruins a song faster than ESPN on college sports coverage.
Standing in a Hall of Fame.
God.
And the world's gonna know your name.
Or any Imagine Dragons song ever.
Radioactive. Oh, my God, dude. The Imagine Dragons was probably like the most annoying kid music you could get. Like, they're going to end up being Nickelback in 20 years when people have this revelation.
People are going to be like, what?
Or like Creed, they're going to have a resurgent tour. The three of us are going to go to Ascend Amphitheater in 2045.
We're going to be going to Imagine Dragons. Dude's still going to be shirtless. He's going to be like in his 60s.
People are going to be still taking pictures of me eating corn dogs.
It's still so weird that somebody did that.
I am very happy.
My friends love that picture. Anytime I say something dumb.
615-737-1045 is the number. If you call in the next segment and you give us the dumbest thing in sports this week, we will reward you with some OAR tickets. Where's the concert?
Nashville.
Yeah.
First Bank, right? Isn't it First Bank?
Yes, you are correct. First Bank Amphitheater.
Which is in Franklin?
Yep.
Okay.
Great venue.
Very good. All right. 615-737-1045 is how you give yourself the opportunity to win those tickets by giving us the dumbest thing in sports this week. Next. Nothing worse as the weather starts to turn than a plumbing, HVAC, or electrical emergency. Most of the time, you don't know what it will cost or if it'll get fixed correctly, or if somebody is just trying to sell you something. That's when you call Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. The price you're told is the price you'll actually pay. There's no hidden fees or surprises on your bill. Hiller has been in business for over 35 years and is family owned and operated. The techs are professional, experienced, and trustworthy. When they're on their way, you'll receive a photo of the tech and a link to track them in real time. 100% satisfaction guarantee of happy you'll be, or the service is free. That's the Happy Hiller promise. So book online today at happyhiller.com.
11:01. Good morning from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The college football playoff rankings came out on Tuesday night. Vanderbilt moved up one spot to number 15. BYU dropped out of the top 10 to number 12 after their loss to Texas Tech. Tennessee moved up to number 23 in the rankings. In NFL news, the Giants are set to start Jameis Winston at quarterback against the Packers on Sunday for Jackson Dart, who is in concussion protocol. Eagles cornerback Jair Alexander has been placed on the reserve retired list after informing the team he is stepping away from football. That's according to ESPN. And Jacksonville rookie cornerback / wide receiver Travis Hunter's season is over. The rookie, with a non-contact injury in practice a week ago, ends his season with an LCL knee injury. College basketball, number 20 Tennessee is back home against North Florida tonight. Tip-off at 6. Vol Network coverage will be joined in progress right here on the Zone at 7. Number 19 Vanderbilt heads up to Clarksville. They face Austin Peay tonight at 6. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
For the opportunity to win a couple of tickets to OAR's upcoming concert at First Bank Amphitheater in Franklin, 615-737-1045 is the number. Call in and tell us what the dumbest thing in sports this week is. Have you all seen this picture of Mike McDaniel after the Dolphins were able to beat the Bills?
Of him perusing the streets where Bills fans like to hang out?
Correct. So, there's a bar in Miami, really Miami Gardens, but a bar in Miami called the Elbow Room. And the Elbow Room is famously where Bills fans congregate when they play in Miami, more often than not, to celebrate a victory over the Miami Dolphins.
Good name for a bar.
Yeah.
I feel like every college town, did you guys have an elbow room?
No.
We had an elbow room.
Did you?
I assumed that everyone had an elbow room.
This
never
is
heard of that.
spelled ELBO.
Oh, ours was spelled correctly. Ours was probably the first.
Probably not.
I'm going to look up how many there are.
Okay, very good. Anyway, so there's a picture that's making the rounds on Monday after the Dolphins beat the Bills. And it's a picture of Mike McDaniel with Mike McDaniel's, or what appears to be Mike McDaniel, wearing Mike McDaniel's very recognizable giant watch, driving Mike McDaniel's very recognizable luxury car, driving by the Elbow Room with his window down and his hand out the window, brandishing his watch and talking smack to Bills fans at the Elbow Room.
Oh, my.
Now, Mike McDaniel was asked about this at a press conference.
Wait, post-game or?
Post-game,
Okay.
after defeating the Bills. So basically taking a victory lap. And Mike McDaniel was being very coy at the podium. So Mike McDaniel, now that they're winning a little more, he's back to being cute at the podium and people getting a kick out of his antics. He's saying, well, AI is very real, and kind of like not confirming or denying the idea that he may or may not have driven by the Elbow Room to harass Bills fans.
What was he saying to them?
There is no reporting on exactly what it is that he said, other than he was gloating about it from afar.
Oh, my God.
Here, I've got the audio of him answering to this if you'd like to play it.
I would like to hear that, please.
That's why I like the good old days, you know, the throwbacks of yore, where you could trust, you know, the internet and the images, because, you know, it is pretty detailed. You know, I do live in that area, but, I mean, AI, right?
He's funny again.
So
Look
now
who's funny again.
With a little bit of a win, Mike McDaniel back to making jokes. AI, right?
Oh, that's so funny.
That's my dumbest thing in sports. It's funny, but it's the dumbest thing in sports this week.
That's great. My dumbest thing in sports is just LSU. Currently, LSU athletics. What does that look like? Not just to fire Brian Kelly and the misalignment and dysfunction there seems to be, but now looking like you're trying to avoid paying his buyout to where Brian Kelly and his legal team are getting involved, and it's turning into this giant mess, and you've got the governor and forcing out an athletic director.
Just the idea of the reporting that his buyout was 53 and LSU was like, but what if we gave you 25?
Right. Now you just ponder that. We'll give you a couple days.
You imagine?
But in this cycle where the Florida job is open, the Penn State job is open, the Auburn job is open, who knows Florida State, who knows what else is going to come open? Yeah, I don't know if the one where there seems to be a lot of turbulence at the top in the program that's trying to go back on a buyout without firing a coach for cause. Yeah, that doesn't look great for your prospective candidates. LSU is my dumbest thing in sports this week.
There you go, Robert.
I'm going to go.
Nobody wants these OAR tickets, by the way.
Come on.
Lucas can go to OAR with Megan.
I'll be the only one there.
While she's in town.
He's going to be singing in the crowd. This time.
No, let him sing it. Let him sing it and not know the lyrics to the song that he'll. Yeah, okay.
I like that. I think Aaron Glenn would have done better to do this in his press conference than blaming the media for an injury coming out. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but I know you've heard it because I complained about it in the break. Aaron Glenn did not want to discuss injuries today after ESPN's Rich Cimini reporting yesterday that Garrett Wilson would miss at least 3 to 4 weeks with a knee injury. Here was the head coach.
I'm going to pass on talking about injuries. Since Rich, he's not here, has all the answers, so you guys can get all the injuries from Rich. So I go right into this game.
Are you a candidate for IR, or is that not something you want to?
Ask Rich.
I'm asking you.
Well, I'm telling you to ask Rich.
I'm trying to hear that. Hey, G,
well, you better call him.
No disrespect to you or Rich, but we want to hear from you. You know,
you guys have been here. You guys have been hearing from me, but now since we're just reporting stuff, that I haven't said, then maybe you should ask him.
Wah, dude. Is the report true? Is Garrett Wilson out for 3 to 4 weeks? If yes, then you have nothing to complain about. I don't understand being this upset. You talked about it with Mike McDaniel. They won. His total attitude changes. The Jets win, and Aaron Glenn is still a bleep head. What are we doing? Why are you upset? Why are you upset that someone broke this injury news? It doesn't impact you outside of the way you prepare for these games.
Because coaches are petulant. That's honest to God. For as many times as I opened up a microphone and said that Brian Callahan should be fired, this is why I wanted Brian Callahan to succeed, because he was at least reasonable. He just wasn't a child up there with a microphone. God, I remember Mike Vrabel's first press conference where he had this weird freak out about us taking pictures of, at the time, where we had the press conference room, because they put up new, signage, new messaging. He's a new coach, all these different things. And just hey, this is what the new Titans press conference looks like. And he, stops everything mid-sentence. It's they're not going to be taking pictures everywhere, are they? What are they doing? Are we going to allow this? It was just a weird, bizarre reaction. Coaches are freaks about such weird stuff. So if they get butthurt about something and they decide to make it vindictive, it's the least surprising thing ever. That's why I wanted Brian Callahan to do well, because he wasn't a child about stuff.
It also doesn't make any sense because I feel like Rich Cimini's been around New York for a long time.
100 years.
If you're going to make a villain out of one dude in the media, don't make it the one guy that has equity in that room.
It's one of those things where if you're a media member, you are totally, and because I'm also a petulant child, it would make sense that this is where my mind would go. I would look at Aaron Glenn and be like, I was here before you. I'm going to be here long after you, bud. Get over it.
He's been doing this all year with the quarterback stuff. He's been just visibly upset and kind of played those games with the media about them asking who his starting quarterback's going to be with this Justin Fields to Rod Taylor fiasco. It's dude, this isn't going to stop. You're in New York.
Being combative with the New York media is the dumbest possible strategy you could have.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Sometimes you see that stuff, you're like, you realize this is what it's always going to be.
Is Aaron Glenn on borrowed time, given that they don't have a rookie quarterback they're tied to? They aren't really tied to Justin Fields.
I don't know. Does it matter at all that he played there? Does that buy him any level of equity at all? Because they are awful. And the side of the ball that he's supposed to specialize in is equally awful.
It's played well at moments this year, but yeah, they're 2-7. They just beat the Browns. Yeah, it's not good.
I think you would have a pretty interesting case to be maybe the most sought-after position that's available, given the assets they have in the draft. Given
If the Jets were to fire him?
Yes, if the Jets were to fire him. But, I mean, also a similar situation that Antonio Pierce was in. Like, okay, you're going to have a blank slate to start, and they still chose to start over.
Well,
So,
Aaron Glenn and Mike Vrabel face off tomorrow night
Oh, God.
on Thursday Night Football.
I'm sure he will be a bowl of sunshine.
Again, the funniest possible result is that the Jets win that game, but there's just no evidence to believe that the Jets would be capable of winning a game like that. We'll see.
No? Do we have a call for OAR? Could it be?
Probably just somebody.
We do.
Eli? All right, Eli and Franklin. He's the only caller for these damn OAR tickets, so inherently he wins, but we'll go ahead and get his dumbest thing in sports this week anyway.
I'll get them to Lucas. All right. I just wanted to say the dumbest thing in sports is everybody crying about Vanderbilt being in the top 15 and Mr. Lucas Panzica mispronouncing to the world that Vanderbilt's number 15 when in reality they climbed up 2 spots to number 14 and number 13 in AP top 25. Doors by feet. Diego for Heisman. Let's go, baby.
I did say that incorrectly. Vanderbilt is 14, not 15.
And you also said giblets. Thought that's what he was talking about.
I delight at the idea that somebody calls in and then laughs at their own joke when we don't laugh at their joke.
I can't be upset. I laugh at a lot of my jokes.
Yes.
I'm aware.
Me too.
Don't laugh at yours, though.
I'm laughing at you. 615-737-1045 is the number. Okay. So, Cam Ward has obviously not had a good season. The Tennessee Titans are obviously a bad football team, so it would be difficult if Cam Ward was to have a good season. But is he falling well short of expectations, even on a team that was picking number 1 overall last year? We're going to compare Cam Ward's numbers through 9 starts to Marcus Mariota in 2015, and I promise it's going to surprise you coming up next. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. The best hot chicken in the world. So, we have 8 more weeks of the NFL regular season. We are well past the halfway point, and we will see what happens on Thursday Night Football between the Jets and the Patriots tomorrow. But in the meantime, the Titans are obviously coming back from a bye, and we understand how the first 9 weeks of their season have gone. They had a win where they got lucky against Arizona, and Cam Ward showed some things in the fourth quarter with Calvin Ridley that made you optimistic, and then they followed it up with one of the worst offensive performances you've ever seen. So far, they are miles below what any reasonable level of expectation was for them in 2025, right? Where the projected win total, it wasn't the lowest or the fewest amount of wins. I believe that was the Giants or the Browns preseason with 3.5 or 4.5. Titans were 5.5 as far as the potential over-under wins that you would take. And 5 felt fair for a team that won 3 last year and made improvements upon the offensive line and was replacing the turnover catastrophe that was Will Levis with the up-and-coming Cam Ward and the number 1 overall pick and all these different things that made you think like, all right, they should have at least a year where you should be able to see them getting their legs under them. And it hasn't been that by any stretch of the imagination. Now they can change these things. I mean, they can look like an appreciably better football team after the bye. They can take advantage of an opportunity to go out there and beat a Texans team that, I mean, C.J. Stroud's probably not going to play this week, right? He's in concussion protocol.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Titus Howard, one of their offensive linemen on a terrible offensive line, is also in concussion protocol. Jalen Petrie, their starting safety on the league's best defense, is in concussion protocol. Now, that defense is still gnarly, but I don't know. Do you fear Davis Mills coming to Nissan Stadium on Sunday? I don't know what people feel at this point.
I mean, they've proven that they can be in a game, right? The Chargers game came down to the wire, but if they don't get healthier right now, Jeffrey Simmons and Calvin Ridley at the top of that list, they just don't really have the tools at the moment to orchestrate some big turnaround
By
in the
their
back
own
half
design.
of the season.
No, I'm not saying some big turnaround, but they can look like a more competitive football team. Right now, health doesn't matter when you've sold off all your parts. Like, what's my guy's name? 45 that just got traded to the Ravens.
Draymond Jones.
Already
forgot about him.
I mean, whatever, man. Like, if you think I'm learning names at this point in the season, like, it's just a constant cycle of practice squad guys. But Roger McCreary is gone. Jarvis Brownlee is gone. Draymond Jones is gone. Like, this is not a situation where just getting healthy is going to allow them to orchestrate a comeback. But that's the defensive side of the ball. The offense is healthy, save Calvin Ridley. There's no reason that the offense should continue to struggle or continue to have moments where it looks worse than it already has, because you can't be worse than the Titans on offense. Statistically, by efficiency, by success rate, they are at the bottom of the barrel by a considerable margin. So, understanding that 9 games is not going to define Cam Ward's career. Is it concerning at all that a team that should be better has been so demonstrably worse than last year's football team, and that the quarterback, can you say, in all honesty, that Cam Ward is making people better right now?
I mean, I don't know that anybody's making anybody better, so no, on the offensive side of things.
Sure, but has Jackson Dart improved things in New York? Now, they're still a basement dweller, and Jackson Dart is obviously dealing with concussion issues, and he's playing a different style of football than Cam Ward is.
I think Jackson Dart, like Fitz put it well yesterday, if you had to put together a 30-second sizzle reel of the biggest plays of the season, right now it would be Jackson Dart more so than Cam Ward, in large part because of what he does with his legs.
Yes.
I'd say the flashiest things Jackson Dart has done this season has been his dual threat ability, which we all knew he was an athletic quarterback, but that kind of snuck up on us, I think, the idea of Jackson Dart running for 33-yard touchdowns in the NFL multiple times. He was always a better athlete coming out of the draft process, so the fact that he was going to be able to utilize his legs and that it was never a part of Cam Ward's game was not surprising, but that it looked like this in the NFL, is fair to surprise you. And it looked more fun in New York with Scatterbo when he was healthy and Dart when he's not getting concussed at every given turn. But I struggle
to say definitively that Cam Ward has improved a football team that should be better. Now, they have also. Calvin Ridley, when he's out there, has not been good, save the fourth quarter of Arizona. Dan Moore Jr. has not been anywhere remotely close to even league average for $82 million. Kevin Zeitler is clearly at the end, and they paid for a broken down car, essentially, on a 1 year, $9 million deal where he has always been good and always been available. He has been, kind of neither here. He's been more available of late, but still. So there's plenty of other reasons beyond just Cam Ward that this team is 1-8. But Lucas, just out of curiosity, I wanted to go back and look at Cam Ward's numbers versus Marcus Mariota's rookie year. 2015, if you look at the roster that Marcus Mariota had, and understanding that Marcus was a significantly better draft prospect than Cam Ward was. He's the Heisman Trophy winner. He's this stud at Oregon that played for a national championship and came up short. He's a dynamic player, right? Passing and running. He's a much higher level player coming into the NFL than Cam Ward was going to be. How many players, how many starting offensive players can you name from the 2015 Titans roster? Because it's
that's
funny.
A fun game.
It's funny to go back and look at this.
Definitely Antonio Andrews at running back.
Yes. So worse at running back.
Yeah, definitely worse at running back.
Between Dexter McCluster, Antonio Andrews, Bishop Sankey, and David Cobb.
Yeah, definitely worse at running back.
Yeah.
Receivers, we're talking about, that's, 2 years after Kendall Wright got drafted.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about Kendall Wright. Was Justin Hunter? Justin Hunter
was here.
Team. That means DGB was on the team.
DGB's rookie year.
He was your leading wide receiver.
DGB was the leading. Now, he wasn't the leading receiver.
Sure, but
he was the leading wide receiver.
Delay had to be Delaney.
Yes.
Yeah.
Delaney was a 1,000-yard receiver.
And Delaney was miles better for Marcus than anything Cam has at his disposal in terms of a veteran pass catcher. I mean, Cam is literally throwing the ball to nothing but rookie fourth-rounders at the moment.
Indisputably, Delaney Walker is the best. If you put both rosters next to one another on the offensive side of the ball, you would point to Delaney Walker and say, that's the best player on either team on offense. So it's Harry Douglas at the end.
Yes.
It's Kendall Wright, Trey McBride,
7th-round pick,
DGB, and you have Justin Hunter on that team as well. Your offensive line situation is second-year Taylor Lewan, who was not good. Lewan really didn't kick it into gear until what? 18, 19? What was the year they drafted Conklin?
So was that post Michael Ruse?
Michael Ruse is gone by then.
Yeah.
So it's Lewan, Jeremiah Patausi, Andy Gallick? Can't remember. Chance Warmack, who we
bust.
Yeah. And then Byron Bell, who had a couple of nice moments and had a couple of good NFL years, but is not by any stretch of the imagination the 7th overall pick at right tackle like they have in J.C. Latham. So the wide receivers across the board, understanding that Calvin Ridley hasn't really been a factor this year, would you say that the 2015 or the 2025 Titans wide receiver core was better?
I'd say 2015.
With Harry Douglas, DGB, and Kendall Wright.
Yeah, I'd say that pass-catching core, especially, we have to say pass-catching core. Like the people Marcus had to throw to.
I'm going to get to the tight ends.
Well, but the tight ends are part of the offense. Tight ends are part of the passing
and the tight end was a huge part of the offense in this specific.
So it's hard for me to separate that when Delaney Walker was there as a bailout as often as he was for Marcus Mariota. It's hard for me to say.
I'm talking about across the board, not one individual player, because Delaney Walker is doing a tremendous amount of heavy lifting there. Calvin Ridley was not some bum until he got here.
Yeah.
Like this Calvin Ridley thing is one of the most disappointing things.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That you could possibly have.
We have to do it based on the Calvin Ridley that has been there at Cam Ward's disposal this season. And that is a player that, apart from a game and a half, has been plagued by drops and or injury.
I just don't think on a neutral setting that I presented you 2025 Calvin Ridley and 2015 Kendall Wright.
On paper, absolutely. Yeah, no, definitely not on paper.
That's what I'm saying.
Calvin Ridley's not out there right now.
Right now, I think it's fair to expect that Calvin Ridley would be back sooner rather than later.
Yeah, we'll see. It's been, a month?
First day of practice today. Of course, if you presented both of the individual options at skill, you would say Delaney Walker is better than Tony Pollard or Calvin Ridley or DK or any of that. But on aggregate, across the board, I don't think that you can make an argument that 2015 is better than 2025.
No, across the board, I wouldn't say so. The offensive line is certainly less talented.
So, and worse. Like, they were worse in 2015. That's the thing about the offensive line stuff that we are going to talk about when we get to these numbers between Cam and Marcus. Cam hurts himself behind that offensive line, not literally, but from a performance standpoint, more than Mariota did. Because of the difference in the way that the two play. And there's a lot more, get the ball out type stuff with Marcus at the time, and he's coming from a different style of offense. We understand this.
And he ran the ball. I mean, he was probably, what was he, like their second lead rusher probably?
Well, I'll give you some numbers here in just a second. So, wide receivers, skill guys on offense, running backs, tight ends, wide receivers. 2025 is better. Offensive line, 2025 is certainly more talented and, by metrics, better. Quarterback, you're in a situation where Marcus is coming in to a team that was 2-14, appreciably worse, had a coach get fired in his rookie year, just like Cam Ward. Callahan was fired before Wisenhunt was at that point in the season, but just about the same. And you've got a defense. Now, the defense, the secondary, my God, the secondary is bad on that 2015 team, but on defense, you do have more parts, right? Jarrell Casey is here. Derek Morgan is here. Daquan Jones is a rookie at the time. Daquan is still playing. Well, I don't think he's playing right now for Buffalo, but he's still an active NFL player. Guys like Wesley Woodyard and Avery Williamson here. Arakpo, I believe that was his first year on the Titans roster. So from a defensive front standpoint, it's not close. It's 2015 over 2025. He definitely had a better defense, but Parrish Cox, Denoris Searcy, Michael Griffin at the end, Cody Sensabaugh, like these are not good secondary players. The secondary is pretty comparable.
The only place I think I disagree, 2015 versus 2025 would be skill guys.
I just don't think you can make the argument.
I think Delaney that's where the imbalance happens.
But think about it. Chig and Gunnar Helm do not equal one Delaney. But Chig and Gunnar Helm are better tight end room on aggregate than Delaney, Craig Stevens, and Supernaw.
A tight end room with Delaney Walker is better than a tight end room with
the team.
Yeah.
On aggregate, the team. I understand that Delaney Walker is the best player on either of these two rosters. God knows I wouldn't advocate against that. Cam Ward's numbers versus Marcus Mariota. So, Mariota, you remember, had an MCL sprain where he missed weeks 7 and 8. In this, so his first 9 starts were interrupted by injury. So on the whole, Cam has made every start. He has not sustained injury. He has not been derailed that way. Marcus, the injuries were the story of Marcus Mariota's career here. The MCL sprain in his rookie year happened in the midseason and then ultimately ended his rookie year. Marcus only played 12 games. But from a completion percentage standpoint, their attempts are just about even. 296 to 295, Mariota to Cam. Mariota completing 62.8% of his passes, Cam 57.6. Passing yards, 2,244, 1,760 for Cam. Passing touchdowns to interceptions, 16 to 8 for Mariota. For Cam, it's 5 to 6. Fumbles lost, they're even. Fumbles total. They have both had 7 fumbles through 9 starts. Mariota has lost 1 less than Cam Ward. So it's 4 fumbles lost for Marcus, 5 for Cam Ward. Rushing attempts, obviously not even close. Cam Ward is not a mobile quarterback. Marcus averaging 6.2 yards per attempt, 22 attempts, 137 yards rushing through the first 9 starts. He's only got 1 rushing touchdown in those first 9 starts, which did surprise me. And then to Cam's 18 attempts for 46 yards, which is a 2.55 average, no rushing touchdowns, because they don't sneak him, which is also a concern. And some of this is coaching, right? 38 sacks for Cam Ward to Marcus Mariota's 26.
Yeah.
That's a style thing. That's a get the ball out thing. That's a you gotta see it and rip it, brother, type thing. So you're hurting yourself. And I'm not saying that all of it's Cam Ward, but like these are, if you go back and look, and A to Z Sports did a blind rookie quarterback resume comparison this morning that I liked. Cam Ward is on track to be Josh Rosen more than he is Marcus Mariota. And that is, it doesn't have to inform his entire career, but you have to know what the foundation or what the starting point for this is.
Cam Ward's stats are on track to parallel Josh Rosen's in his rookie year more than Marcus Mariota's.
Yes. Certainly not the player. You look at Cam Ward and you see a player that looks like he should be better than he actually is. I would not dispute that at all. I mean, he looks like he should be a better NFL quarterback than Dylan Gabriel or Tyler. Well, I don't know. Tyler Shuck looked pretty good. But still, like, I don't think that Cam's incapable, but I think that you cannot make an argument that Cam Ward has not fallen well short of expectations through the first half of the season, even if he is on the team that drafted number 1 overall, because he should theoretically have way more at his disposal than Marcus did.
Yeah, part of that is also everything. Every single aspect of this team has fallen short of expectations.
Everything.
Expectations that were low to begin with.
But is he helping or is he contributing to the problems that they're having? He can't catch the ball for Calvin Ridley. Right. The answer is both.
Yeah. Like anything good that they've done on offense, aside from Tony Pollard ripping off, a couple of chunk plays in the run game here and there.
Not even.
Has come from Cam Ward. And a lot of the bad in the offense has come from Cam Ward. It's been extremely sporadic. And I also think the standard for what a rookie quarterback should be able to accomplish has been set so high in the last few years with what we've seen from the likes of C.J. Stroud and Jaden Daniels that it kind of rewrites the expectation level for a quarterback, especially one taken at number 1 overall.
That's why I didn't want to do those guys. That's why I wanted Marcus. I wanted the last time the Titans drafted a first-round pick at quarterback. Tannehill was a first-round pick, but obviously he wasn't drafted.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted Marcus. Because, that wasn't, like, people weren't throwing, I guess Jameis and Marcus were both starters right out the gate, but we weren't having these, like, record-breaking numbers, Herbert, Burrow, Stroud type of years. I wanted the last time the Titans were picking at the very top of the draft, or damn near at the very top of the draft, versus those teams and what those teams look like. Because I understand what Mike Borgonzi's saying last week when he says, yeah, Cam Ward looks like a rookie on the team that picked first overall in football last year.
Here's the thing. Like, Calvin Ridley on paper and his career is better than any receiver the Titans had on that 2015 team. Calvin Ridley is also on pace to barely eclipse what DGB did in that season.
Right.
Even what Harry Douglas and Kendall Wright did in that season.
Sure.
So that outlet of Delaney Walker was obviously such a saving grace for him. He had 133 targets, caught 94 of them. That was Delaney Walker in 2015.
Delaney was awesome.
Yeah. Cam doesn't have anything even closely, remotely resembling that.
No, but the thing
in 2025
that has been the biggest fair criticism of Cam Ward, Lucas, is that he's leaving throws on the field. Is that when he's holding the ball or not taking these easy completions that are presented to him in the offense because he's hunting the big play or rolling out and missing things, like that he is leaving opportunities on the field. And I'm not saying that one guy would be able to, that he has a Delaney Walker out there to complete these passes to or to have yards after the catch opportunities, but that he's missing far more than somebody in a similar situation to him. In fact, a worse situation
There
to
are
him.
a ton of criticisms for Cam Ward in 2025. The thing is, no matter what, I think it was always going to be a situation in his rookie year with what he's surrounded by, especially with how it's gone on offense. It was always going to be a situation where if we box score scouted Cam after his rookie year, it wasn't ever going to look good. So I get where we're at with these conversations, and holding Marcus in 2015 up is a much more useful exercise than holding up C.J. Stroud or Jaden Daniels that were in completely different situations. And we're better prospects coming out and all of these things. But the reality is...
But we're not box score scouting. We watched all of these games.
Sure, but...
We have seen all of these games.
I understand, but holding up Cam's stats next to Josh Rosen's stats is by definition box score scouting.
Now, something that needs to be pointed out, because I want to go further than the box score, the strength of schedule that Cam Ward has faced through the first 10 weeks, because obviously the Titans didn't play last week. You want to guess what the Titans' strength of schedule of opponents has been?
I don't know about opponents, but defenses, it's been pretty up there.
Number 1.
Yeah.
That is huge context for this conversation. Now, I couldn't find through just 10 weeks Marcus Mariota's strength of schedule, but he was playing, terrible Browns teams. It ultimately, at the end of the season, in a 16-game sample size, ended up being 29th.
Yeah.
So Marcus facing at a decidedly easier level of competition, certainly defenses, than Cam Ward has, where you've seen the Colts twice and the Rams and the Broncos and all these other considerably better teams. That is huge.
That's a big part of it.
For the part of the conversation.
But I think people are, in these discussions, people are trying so hard. Like, people are wanting to call him a bust so badly in these conversations. Like, these discussions walk it right up to that line.
No, I don't think so. Who's trying to call him a bust?
Well, I feel like it's happening
now,
more and
Stillman's
more
out here
often.
screaming, I'm calling him a bust and you should play it on your air when I say it on Sirius, which drives me insane, Jared. I'm never going to do that. But nobody should determine what a player is through 9 games, but to inform the conversation moving forward. Should the Titans have an open quarterback competition when they have a new coach, when Will Levis comes back from injury? I don't know that yet, but it informs a part of that conversation that we'll have when we get to the spring. And I know that probably sounds horrendous to half the fan base, and I think there's a portion of the fan base that's like, I haven't seen any. There's nothing there yet that screams, this is decidedly your guy. Other than they spent the number 1 overall draft pick on him.
Yeah, for sure. Like, that is the only thing right now. But no, there are flashes, right? Like, again, we spent the first month of the season with the Dan Orlovskis of the world telling us that Cam Ward is doing incredible things.
Dan
and the
should
tape,
never have done that.
The tape is screaming that Cam Ward is going to be an elite quarterback.
It's just not accurate.
Right? Like, but the point is, like, it's somewhere in the middle. Like, if Dan Orlovsky is loving what he's seeing on tape with Cam Ward, and, like, I get what you're saying. It's also hard for me to wrap my head around, but, like, I can't look at Dan Orlovsky and say, no, what you are seeing on tape is inaccurate.
No, I told you. I texted Dan. I'm like, I wish I could see what you see.
We can't do that. We don't have the capacity to do that.
Of course not.
And then on the flip side of that is saying that his numbers are on pace to be worse than Marcus's, Josh Rosen level, and that leads to him being a bust. Like, it is somewhere in the middle, and this is a tough thing to put forth in a time where we have to talk about this every single day in a football season, but the reality is we don't know until the end of next season.
No.
Like, we can barely even begin to formulate a conversation on what he's going to be as a starting quarterback.
No, but that's our job.
Towards the end of next season.
Our job is to talk about the progress that he's making or not making, the things that he does on a week-by-week basis, the things that he does or is improving on in practice versus the things that aren't translating from what he thinks he's improving on from practice to game. Like, the rest of our job for the rest of the season is, what did Cam Ward do today, and what is he on track to do? And so, as we check in at the halfway point, essentially, a little past the halfway point, he's been underwhelming. Now we'll see how he improves through the second half of the season. That is such a huge part of this conversation because you knew definitively at the end of Marcus's year, even though he had it ended 2 games before the season ended with the MCL injury, that was going to be your guy, that John Robinson would then trade the number 1 overall pick in 2016 to pick up that bounty of picks that became Kevin Byard and Derrick Henry, and also Kevin Dodd and Austin Johnson and all this other crap. Yes, Robert?
No, whenever you're done.
No, I'm done.
All that to say, not to paint it a certain negative way, like, and that's kind of what you guys are talking about it, but from Josh Allen's standpoint.
Yeah.
Josh Allen's first 9 games, he averaged 52.4% completion percentage. He averaged 0.6 touchdowns a game to 1 interception a game. Through 9 games, he had, just doing math on the fly here, 5 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. So, I mean, they can change. They can get better. Like, with a new coach, it can, like the Brian Daboll effect, right? Like, things can change. He can get someone who's better for him. This is just to paint the picture for where we are now.
Completely fair. But, just devil's advocate, how many picks, Anthony Richardson, did Josh Allen convince other NFL teams that they could make into the next Josh Allen? And Cam's not that. He's not Anthony Richardson. He's not Josh Allen. He's not.
Yeah, that's an apples and oranges thing because Allen didn't have that in college. And so people try to take that and apply it to Anthony Richardson, who didn't have the resume in college.
No, the Bills weren't even starting him.
Right.
It was Nathan Peterman when they started that season. And then I think Peterman threw 5 interceptions.
Where
in the
were
first
you
game.
for that pick 6?
Oh, my God.
Those 5 interceptions were incredible. What a game.
Unbelievable. Anyway, so just checking in on where things are and where things need to get before the end of the year. I know fans don't want to win games. I think Cam Ward has to go out there and win a few games to show you that this definitively is your guy. All right, Vandy's college football playoff path. We'll talk about it next. I'm surprised Lucas didn't come in here with the cake and sparklers and party hats to celebrate. You know what happened 8 years ago today?
8 years ago today, what?
This man can name every wife of a Tennessee coach, but doesn't remember that Butch Jones was fired 8 years ago today. Happy anniversary to you.
Yes.
Look at this.
That was a great day.
The smile that just came over your face. What do you most remember about that day that Brady Hoke then took over as the interim coach at the time?
It's more about what surrounded that day. The whole lead up to that was, is he fired yet? Why isn't he fired yet? For about 3 or 4 weeks. And then shortly after he was let go, Brady Hoke made the decision to kick Juwan Jennings off the team after a profanity-laced rant on Instagram about how he hates Vanderbilt and how they're not going to let him play against Vanderbilt on Instagram Live, I believe. And then Brady Hoke kicked him off the team, and Tennessee fans lost their minds.
Is that before or after he stomped on a Vandy kid?
I can't remember. I think before.
Did they have Instagram Live back then? Was it not like Periscope?
8 years ago?
2017.
We're not that old.
It might have been Periscope.
2018 is a long time ago.
Maybe it was just a video. I don't know.
I'm going to look. I'll look.
Okay, thank you.
But I remember that drove Tennessee fans insane because he was the one fan favorite on the team. And for an interim coach to kick him off the team drove people nuts. And then Pruitt got hired and immediately reinstated Juwan Jennings. And Shiano Sunday was all in the middle of that, too. So
what
good
a
times.
time
Good
to
times.
be alive.
2016 is when Instagram Live started. So Periscope was dead.
Periscope and Twitch. Or not Twitch, Vine.
Vine. Many, many hours were wasted.
How did TikTok take advantage of like something that Vine already had? It's like what's the version of Zoom before Zoom? I can't even remember. Skype.
Yep.
Skype fumbled the bag so hard, and I'll never understand how Vine didn't become what TikTok is.
Well, Skype wanted people to pay for it, and Zoom was like, "Hey, we're free." When
For 30
COVID,
minutes.
Yeah. So you could slide in there. I don't remember what the Vine catastrophe was, but the whole 8 seconds, right? Or is that how long Vine?
6 seconds.
6 seconds.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it. Anyway, Vandy, unlike the Vols, still has a path forward to the college football playoff. Now, it's reasonable to think that Vanderbilt could win out and still get boxed out of the college football playoff pending surrounding results. But right now, with them getting a bye at a pretty favorable time, coming off an exhausting overtime win against Auburn and getting ready to host Kentucky is their next game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're on a bye week before they host Kentucky on Senior Day next Saturday, the 22nd, before that Tennessee game.
Calvin Ridley and Arden Key will return to practice today for the Titans, according to Mike McCoy.
So, yeah, Vanderbilt obviously has to win out. And again, I feel like a broken record. Every time I've presented this situation of not just Vandy, but the idea of any 10-2 SEC team being left out of the playoff, it's kind of dismissed. Like, no. Things will kind of work themselves out. Like, I think back to last year, Tennessee got some help at the end of the year. Ole Miss slipped up against Florida, right? Like, there were things that happened to help Tennessee get into the playoff. And it very well could happen that Vanderbilt goes 10-2, beats Tennessee. Obviously, if that doesn't happen, this is all a moot point. But when I look at this moment, really only the top 10 in the current field getting in. Highest ranked ACC, highest ranked G5. The two champions in both of those categories, so to speak, will be in with those last two spots. So Texas is ranked, Oklahoma is 11, BYU 12. They're both out of the field at the moment. There is a rooting guide in place here for Vandy fans. Like, you do not want the Big 12 to be a team that has 2, maybe 3 teams vying to get in, whether that's Texas Tech, BYU, or Utah. You certainly, there's not really a scenario where it looks like the ACC will be a 2-bid league. But, again, we talked about the idea of Georgia Tech winning out, Miami winning out, certain things happening. They meet in the championship game, and then they both have a resume that's decent enough to get them in. Like, there are things that can happen that can keep Vanderbilt on the outside looking in. So the rooting guide is there. You want Notre Dame to lose to Pitt. Get them out of there. You want Oklahoma to lose to Bama. Give them that third loss. Knock them out.
That Notre Dame thing, though, they're a wagon right now. Navy was never going to beat them, but I think, what were they, 25.5-point favorites against Navy, and Notre Dame still covered. Like, they look great.
If you're Vandy, you want Texas to lose to Georgia. Give them that third loss. Knock them out. And those two things could very well happen this weekend, and then you're good, and you feel fine about your chances if you're 10-2. Right now, it's not a slam dunk. All you can do is focus on what you can do, and that is to beat a resurgent. Resurgent feels strong for this Kentucky team. But
I mean, they got a little more. It's not outright resurgent.
They got some
resurgent,
juice.
They got juice.
They got some juice.
This is his name, Carter Bowley?
Cutter Bowley.
Cutter Bowley.
By the way, did we talk about, I don't think we talked about the Zach Calzada thing. Did you see this?
No.
We have to play it at some point.
What are you talking about?
Zach Calzada, the Kentucky
Can we
quarterback.
just do it now?
Who's in like year 7, or I don't know if it's clean.
Yeah, no, he's been in football since 2019.
Yeah,
right?
he posted this video. I don't know who he's talking to. Someone named Garrett. Basically talking smack to maybe someone who was talking to him on social media or something, and flaunting like wads of hundreds. Going,
is that NIL money?
On an iPhone video going, count it, keep counting, keep counting. And he's just, it's like, dude, you are just begging to get robbed or something. He has had to issue an apology and all. Like, he got benched for a Cutter Bowley hit, and he is out here throwing hundreds at his iPhone. Oh, man.
Well, it's like the LeBron James thing a couple of years ago. You remember that when LeBron James was fielding questions about why people hate him, and he's just like, yeah, they'll never make as much money as me.
Yeah, but LeBron James also might be the GOAT. Where Zach Calzada got benched for Cutter Bowley at Kentucky.
I mean, he's got to be, what is he, 26?
That's what I'm saying. He's dude can rent a car. And he's out here flaunting his wads of hundreds. He's 25.
How did that not make a dumbest thing in sports this week?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, should have. We'll play it in the next hour at some point.
Done. All right. Coming up next, what can the Titans accomplish the final 8 weeks of the season? We'll also have Adam Sparks for a quick check-in on a Rocky Top. I'm Buck Rising. It's 104.5 The Zone.
12:01, good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Lucas Panzica. The college football playoff rankings came out Tuesday night. Vanderbilt moved up to the number 14 spot. BYU dropped out of the top 10 down to number 12. Tennessee moved up to number 23 in the rankings. In NFL news, the Giants are set to start Jameis Winston at quarterback against the Packers Sunday as Jackson Dart is in concussion protocol. Also, Eagles cornerback Jair Alexander has been placed on the reserve retired list after informing the team that he is stepping away from football. According to ESPN, the multiple-year All-Pro was traded to Philly before the trade deadline from Baltimore. And Jags rookie cornerback and receiver Travis Hunter is out for the season after going down with a non-contact knee injury, an LCL injury, over a week ago. College hoops, number 20 Tennessee back home against North Florida tonight. Tip-off at 6. Vol Network coverage starts or will be joined in progress right here on The Zone at 7 after 3HL after party. And number 19 Vanderbilt heads up to Clarksville. They face Austin Peay tonight for a 6 p.m. tip. For all your foundation repairs and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Adam Sparks of the Knoxville News Sentinel is going to check in with us here in just about 20 minutes, and we'll get up to speed with the Vols since they've been on a bye. Titans are also returning to the practice field today after their Week 10 bye, with Calvin Ridley and Arden Key expected to participate, according to Mike McCoy today. Media reports coming out. I'll head over there for Cam Ward's press conference here later this afternoon. We'll see how the rookie spent his bye at this point in time. And Kevin Zeitler is apparently going to miss today just for rest, which coming off a bye is interesting, but that's fine. If Kevin Zeitler needs an additional day of rest, whatever. Let Kevin Zeitler rest. What can the Titans accomplish with the remaining 8 games that they have? So, Lucas, let's say you're a Titans fan that is unencumbered by broadcast Titans radio game day host responsibilities. What do you want from the Titans with 8 games left?
I want to see incremental improvement from Cam Ward and the rest of the rookies. Like, that's what you're watching for this season. Mike Borgonzi in his press conference last week was asked about building blocks, those foundational pieces of the roster. Mm-hmm. And what was the number he mentioned? About 3 or 4?
Well, it was kind of funny. Did you hear the way that Terry McCormick kind of tried to lead him?
Yeah, with like 15
15, 20, like half a roster. He's like, nah, 3 or 4.
Yeah, well, he was recalling the rebuild they had in Kansas City when they were a dreadful team, 2-14, and that was kind of the number of foundational pieces that stayed with them through that rebuild into the successful times when Borgonzi was on that front office staff. So those foundational pieces, obviously, Jeffrey Simmons being one. And apart from Jeff, if we're to limit it to 3 or 4, you can't really say anyone other than rookies. Maybe throw Cedric Gray in there. I don't know. But it's Cam Ward, Chimere Dike, Gunnar Helm, and Alec Iamaner. And we'll see what they get from the likes of Kevin Winston, Marcus Harris down the stretch on defense. But you're watching for the rookies. You're watching for Cam Ward to continue to take some steps forward.
No, but what do you want in these next 8 games?
What I just said.
Okay, but what if they win? Do you want them to lose? Do you want them to win?
I think you mentioned it when we finished talking about Cam Ward. The best thing for Cam Ward's development is to learn how to win games.
If you're a fan or a member of the Titans front office, you should want competitive, close losses that show you the kind of incremental improvement from the young players that Lucas just described. If you are someone who cares about not ruining Cam Ward in other ways, you need to see that player win. They need to, they have done so little winning. What are they, 10-40 in their last 50 games? It's something awful.
It's hard because they're in a position that they obviously have put themselves in where you can make a real argument for either one from a fan's perspective.
Oh, yeah. No, from a fan's perspective, I think there's a contingent of the fan base. Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that was it. Like, think about the advantageous position you could be in with the number 1 overall pick, especially if we'll see how the post-college football season draft discourse goes. But if Fernando Mendoza and that stock continues to go up and suddenly there's teams clamoring for Mendoza or whoever to be their franchise quarterback with that number 1 pick, the Jets have ammo, man. Like, they're just out here stocking up first and second round picks at the trade deadline.
Browns also.
Yes, Browns have a bunch of picks. So you could be in a very advantageous position with that number 1 overall pick. So you balance that. That is unquestionably what would put you in a better position to get closer to that goal of the 30 draft picks in 3 years and all the things we know they need to build out a roster with needs literally everywhere. You also need your quarterback to figure out how to win games. And you just can't limp into an offseason
again
with a whimper. Like, you got to show something.
To where we're asking players in the locker room at the end of week 18, are you just glad that it's over? And everybody's just kind of sighing and saying, yes, thank God. I mean, that's literally what it's been for, I don't know, 3.5 years at this point in time, which obviously predates Cam Ward or Jim Radike or Tavondre Sweat, but they're all a part of it. This is something that draft position does not guarantee you anything. Now, if you had to strip this thing down to the studs, and this was the point that Robert was making correctly when the Titans traded McCreary, and there was a contingent of the fan base that was upset with trading a young player that you could, in your mind, see an extension for if you really wanted to. That if you're going to do it, this is the way to do it, right? Robert, I'm not mischaracterizing your argument?
No, you got it.
Okay. But I cannot, in good conscience, ever endorse losing by design. Now, players and coaches are not going to lose by design. Half of this roster, maybe more, is not going to be here. They don't give a damn about the number 1 overall pick. The coaching staff, who you don't care about if you're a Titans fan because they're mostly not going to be here next year either. We'll see who the next Titans coach opts to retain, if anybody. Bones Fossil needs to be retained, but I add parenthetically. I see so much more harm in continued losses, even if I know that Cam Ward is not somebody who's easily broken. There may be, I bet they're favored in 1 game for the rest of the year. Saints at home. And maybe not a full 3 points for home field advantage. I would say maybe Titans by 1.5, if you made me call it today. Browns on the road, I don't think they're going to be favored against Myles Garrett and them if Myles Garrett's healthy. It's one of the best defenses in football. There's not another game on the schedule that you could make the argument that they should be favored in, right? So, I think that they will lose organically because they are a bad football team in a bad situation and that you don't need them to actively try and do anything other than I want to actively see them try and win games even if they're not capable of doing it. For all the reasons that we just talked about, I need to know definitively that Cam Ward is the guy moving forward at the end of the year so that I can be in a position to trade the number 1 overall draft pick. And maybe Mike Borgonzi is entrenched in that position anyway because he made the pick and he believes in Cam Ward. I think he said as much when he's talking about foundational pieces, those 4 or 5 guys last week, if I'm not mistaken, yeah?
Yeah.
So, I still think there needs to be proof of concept, and I would love to see more games like the Chargers game if they're capable of that. I don't know if they are. Their schedule does get a little easier. It's been very difficult so far. To Cam Ward's credit, he's battled through as best he can. But it's not been good enough. He needs to be better. They across the board need to be better. I get why Titans fans, some of you will root for losses, some of you will not root for losses, but you will be okay with them losing because of the draft pick. You're also relying on a couple of different dominoes there to fall that Fernando Mendoza, what other quarterback is even in the conversation right now for the number 1 overall pick?
I think Ty Simpson probably will be.
Number 1 overall? With all the different defensive players that are being talked about, I think that's...
I mean, yeah, I guess number 1 overall pick, number 1 overall quarterback can be a different discussion. But, I mean, the answer is there's no consensus on anything right now. Like, it's early November. We'll see. I mean, think about how much the discussion... Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders were like neck and neck when the college football season ended it felt like a toss-up. Who's going to be number one? And then it got to a point where Shedeur's a fifth rounder. So I don't know. Mendoza's being talked about in
all
that.
the stuff about Shedeur, like that Adam Schefter report saying that he didn't want to be drafted by the Ravens. Robert, is that accurate? Because he didn't want to be typecast behind Lamar or something like that?
Later in the draft, he said that he would rather land in a situation that would lead to him playing more quickly than if he went to play for the Ravens, where he would be designated as a backup, is what Shedeur said. On the first overall pick, there are 4 quarterbacks that have betting odds to be the first pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Ty Simpson currently is the favorite to be drafted, number 1 overall. Fernando Mendoza not far behind him at plus 230. Dante Moore is the third quarterback with plus 700.
That's what Stoney says.
And then Lenora Sellers at plus 1,000.
Oh, wow.
Also, while we're talking about odds, Buck, you noted that the only game the Titans may be favored in would be the Saints. If that game happened today, the line would be plus 3 for the Titans. They would be 3-point underdogs.
At home?
Yes.
Against New Orleans.
So it's depending on where you look, it's either 2.5 or 3. But they are the underdog in just about every book.
Jesus.
On every book.
So I get why people want them to tank. At least why some people want them to tank. I cannot ever get behind that in any way, shape, or form. And trust and know that locker room is not going to either. If you listen to Ben Jones on Monday, he'll tell you, no, that's on that 2-14 Texans team that he was a part of. They went out and fought their ass off. They lost games organically, and that's fine if that ends up being the case. But I think that there is so much more harm, definitive harm. If we're talking about definitive things that can happen, I don't know what you're going to be able to do with the theoretical number 1 overall draft pick that you might land in back-to-back years. I don't know. I have an idea what happens if you do, but we're not there yet. I do know that there is definitive harm that comes from losing this much for this long and that it can't continue. It just simply can't. 615-737-1045 is the number. We can get back to your phone calls later, but in the meantime, Adam Sparks of the Knoxville News Sentinel, join us next. Welcome back to the show, fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken, the best hot chicken in the world. Adam Sparks will join us here in just a second. In the meantime, we do have some time for phone calls, 615-737-1045. The number. Tommy is in Nashville next.
Thanks, Buck. Buck, if I was going to bet on whether or not Ty Simpson was going to be the number one overall pick or whether or not he will stay in school for another year, I would take he'll stay in school. He probably, he was patient about waiting to be the starting quarterback. His dad has a lot to do with his decisions, and I know the number one big would be hard to turn down, but I don't know. I think he would stay in Alabama for another year. I'll hang up and listen. Thanks.
Thank you for the call, Tommy. I wasn't sure how much eligibility Ty Simpson had left. He'd been at Alabama for a while.
He redshirted his freshman year, so technically he would be eligible next year. 2022 is his first year of college. His last year, he won the state championship in 2021 with Westview High School and then went to college and redshirted.
It's also a perilous tale of quarterbacks who were thought of to be a high-drafted player and then went back to school only to have their draft grade snubbed.
I'd be surprised.
Who was the USC quarterback?
Titans legend.
Matt Barkley.
Matt Barkley.
He's already done the thing that you don't see, which is 5-star, get somewhere, not immediately be handed the keys, and stick around for 4 years and get his shot now in his 4th year of college and is running with it. Like, that in and of itself is a dying breed. So I'd be surprised if he continues down that thread and comes back with his stock as high as it probably will be.
And more recent, Carson Beck, right? Like, Carson Beck was probably thought of to be...
his stock did fall a lot last year.
It fell, but, like, has it fallen farther now?
Maybe, yeah. Making good money, though.
Well, people also think he's a jerk. Like, I don't think it's just a performance thing. Adam Sparks, not a jerk, famously. Not a jerk, famously, of the Knoxville News-Sentinel. Here with us on 104.5 The Zone. Buddy, did you enjoy your week off? Did you get time away? I know you and the wife tend to take trips where there's a lot of eating involved. Was there any fine delicacies that you sampled in your week off?
No, could not do that. Actually, we had to choose between weddings. If you know anything about, Tennessee schedule, once they schedule a bye week, all the wedding venues are booked. And so we had multiple wedding invitations, and we had to choose between them. Did the one in the family. My wife's niece got married in West Tennessee. The funny thing behind that is there's one wedding venue in this small town in West Tennessee, and you have to. So it's in demand. Well, everybody waits for the Tennessee schedule to say when the bye week is. Somebody my niece knows had insider information about when the bye week would be before the schedule was announced.
Oh,
no, you got scooped? Did you get scooped?
No, I scooped it. No, I told her when the bye week would be before the schedule.
Yes, that's the joke he's
You're
making.
The person
you idiot.
the niece knows.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that.
My understanding was a couple weeks later when the schedule was announced, that venue got a lot of phone calls about booking that day, and it was already taken.
Not so fast.
Insider trading.
Look at that. Uncle Adam coming through in a clutch. Adam Sparks of the Knoxville News-Sentinel here with us on 104.5 The Zone. So understanding that things are now, the tenor around Tennessee's season is at least different than it was maybe at the midpoint, Adam. What is Josh Heupel saying about what they still want to accomplish as this group now that the college football playoff aspirations are out of hand?
Yeah, this is the point in the season when all these coaches drop the line where they say all our goals are in front of us. Well, they don't say they're no longer in front of us. They just drop that line because the playoffs are no longer in front of Tennessee. For me, I'd say anybody over like 35, 40 years old, this is always sort of frustrating that when you get to the point of the season where you say, hey, you can still go 9-3, and then if you win your bowl game, you get 10 wins, and you go to – if Tennessee goes 9-3, they'll go to like the ReliQuest Bowl or maybe the Citrus. ReliQuest used to be the Outback Bowl. Like a good Florida Bowl and have a chance to win 10 games, and that's looked at as like a disappointing season. It's the playoff or bust era that we're in now, and that's just, that's no good. They still have a chance to have a really good year. I picked Tennessee to go 9-3 in the preseason, so where they're at is where I thought they would be. And I mean, this is a weird week, this one, because you just want to put up a lot of points, blow out New Mexico State, and get the taste of the Oklahoma game out of your mouth. But there's still a couple of big games left and a couple of pretty clear-cut goals, which is win the Swamp for the first time in 22 years and potentially keep Vanderbilt out of the playoff. That's sort of the two goals I would say going forward.
At Adam Sparks is where you follow him. KnoxNews.com is where you can read all of the great journalism that he and his colleagues provide.
Adam, what has the discourse been for you and the folks that listen to you and read you over at Knox News regarding Josh Heupel and sort of the mixture of Heupel getting credit for doing something with Joey Aguilar and raising that expectation back to playoff or bust, and also the criticisms of some of the in-game management, play calling stuff that has kind of reared its head in big moments this year. Generally, where have you felt Tennessee fans have landed on that entire discussion that has seemed to pop up in the last couple weeks?
I've found that a lot of the criticism around Josh Heupel is more indirect. It's not, hey, we blame Josh Heupel, we want to fire Josh Heupel, we don't believe in Josh Heupel. It's more of people around Josh Heupel need to be fired or straightened out or something. Like it's more so, I think a lot of Tennessee fans say, I believe in Josh Heupel, but he needs to get rid of this coach over here, or he needs to change something in game management. Sort of the thing where it's not Heupel's fault as long as he makes some changes. So you could say he's maybe 1 year away from being blamed for anything bad. But I would say generally the farther you get away from a loss like the Oklahoma game, the more I think people have settled down, been reasonable, and said, okay, this guy still has a chance to average 10 wins over the last 4 years. And things will go into – I mean, as long as they beat Florida – let's say they beat Vanderbilt, I think just about everybody will leave the season pretty happy. As far as Joey Aguilar, it's sort of a mixed bag because, on one hand, he has had great quarterbacks, put up great numbers. It's unbelievable the kind of year that Joey Aguilar is having gotten here just a few months ago. But that conversation will turn a little bit when we get later into December, when Josh Heupel has to decide whether or not he goes into the portal to get another Joey Aguilar, so to speak, or another Hendon Hooker, or if he sticks with, let's say, George McIntyre or Faison Brandon, the 5-star that's coming in. Because so far the transfers that he's gotten are the ones that have really hit the 5-star blue chip recruits. Nico was fine, but he wasn't Hendon Hooker, and he wasn't Joey Aguilar. And so that narrative will turn a little bit depending on what Josh Heupel does in the portal.
So with that in mind, how do you think maybe that plays into Saturday, if at all? I feel like Heupel and his staff have generally been hesitant to throw out the young players, especially at quarterback, early in these blowout type of games. They got to take care of business. We understand that. But Jake Merklinger got some time against UAB earlier this year. George McIntyre came in, did not attempt a pass. How do you feel this should be handled on Saturday with the offseason and the portal window looming, and how do you think they will handle it?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of an awkward situation because everybody sort of assumes that Jake Merklinger will go into the portal in January. He didn't win the job this year. This was sort of his chance. You would think he's going to go somewhere else and reset. But he hasn't said that. We just assumed that makes perfect sense that he would leave. But that's not going to happen until like after Tennessee's bowl game. And I don't think he's going to announce anything like that. So on the depth chart, he's the number 2. Which means he would play first if it was a blowout on Saturday. And so the guy that you think would be coming back would be the 3 in McIntyre. And it's just weird because there's going to be 100,000 people in the stadium that are all going to say, well, why don't you play the guy who's going to be back next year rather than the guy that's going to go somewhere else? But we technically don't know that. So I'd like to see a lot of McIntyre because I do think he's got a chance to start next year. But I think there's the likelihood is that he's going to play 2 drives in the fourth quarter on Saturday. And I'd just like to see more of him than that.
So, which brings us back to the idea of Heupel and fair criticisms, Adam, because, listen, I've covered the Titans for a period of time now. I remember Mike Vrabel being criticized for hires post Matt LaFleur and Arthur Smith, who went on to become head coaches, and that they stuck with guys too long, or that they're fine coaches except they keep making buddy hires, or all of these different things. And I understand that your job is to report, not necessarily opine on these things like fans do, but what is fair criticism of the job that Josh Heupel is doing, not just in the management of things around him, but also what you're saying about, potentially trying to see somebody that can give you, or somebody in a larger sample size in game, not just at practice, that can potentially be a starting quarterback for you next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think Josh Heupel always wants to stick with guys longer than most. That's sticking with players. We saw that with like Boo Carter this year. I think that's sticking with quarterbacks longer. I think that's certainly sticking with assistant coaches. He's never fired an assistant coach. And so, the thing with like the Patriots way and Belichick was always he wants to get rid of you a year before he should. Get rid of him a year early, not a year late. And I think Josh Heupel usually leans more towards I don't want to get rid of them too early because I maybe need to give them another chance. So that's why he's kept a lot of assistant coaches for a long time over the years, which frustrates some people. I would say more his tweak this offseason needs to be in terms of game management, because if you look at him on the sideline, you usually can't see this on TV, but live you can. He's obviously calling plays. He's communicating a lot. Some of the game management, time management issues they've had in 2 or 3 games this year has been where he's obviously trying to do like 3 different jobs at one time. And I do think this offseason, if not during the season, he needs to figure out some way to let some things go and be able to manage that a little better. Give some other guys the job, or get rid of play calling duties, which I don't think he's going to do, at least not with the guys he has on staff right now. But something's got to give. Lane Kiffin gave up play calling duties, and he has said that like he can see so much more of the game and look ahead rather than thinking about what his 3rd and 6th play is. And that's something that Josh Heupel's got to figure out this offseason.
I saw his quotes, Heupel's, specific to Jermod McCoy this week, where, it's a non-answer, essentially. It's a different version of the same line that he's been offering about the difficulty of the injury and the way that Jermod has fought back. Do we have any indication of whether we will see him this year at all, Adam?
Not really. I mean, it's getting so late in the game. I think he certainly would have played at some point if they would have gotten into the playoffs. Now that they're out, that's a snag in the conversation. We have not heard if he's actually been cleared medically, although his participation in practice is ramped up. That makes me think that the ball's a little more in his court and his people than it is just a medical decision. It's a hard decision for like his agent and his family and Jermod himself, because he's been as high as like a top 10 pick, and then you've seen him in mock drafts, for whatever those matter, slide into the teens. Now you're seeing him slide a little bit into the 20s. And how much farther could he slide if those mock drafts are accurate? I think they have to decide, like, if he comes back, let's say, for the last 2 games and plays well, that solidifies him as a first-round pick, maybe a high first-round pick. If he comes back for a couple of games and plays poorly and looks rusty and stiff, that may bump him out of the 2nd round. Well, then what's the risk there if he doesn't come back at all and he just relies on pre-draft workouts? Maybe he retains that first round grade. So it's a risk sort of either way. I think he could be healthy if he comes back and plays, but time is running out on that. And if he comes back out there, he needs to look good enough to show that he's on his way to being a first round pick and not put doubt in the mind of any NFL personnel.
Adam Sparks of the Knoxville News Sentinel getting us updated after the Vols bye on all things Tennessee.
So obviously, still 9-3 to play for. The wins over Florida, Vanderbilt, as you mentioned. The season isn't over, as much as some fans maybe want to punt on it, go ahead and start George McIntyre, whatever kind of things the vocal minority is shouting at this time of year. But there are things that have to be taken into consideration, right, Adam, as that portal looms. Players that are going to want to be paid, are going to want to leverage their position, like a Braylon Staley with the season that he's had. Who are some of the players that you're kind of watching down the stretch? Just to kind of see how much playtime they're getting, how they're playing, how it could impact their status when the portal comes around and trying to leverage Tennessee for more money, or maybe, hitting the exits.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see where the offensive line is, because they played like 7 or 8 different guys, and only one I feel like for sure won't be back next year, and that's Lance Hurd. I think he'll go into the draft. Wendell Moy's got a decision whether or not he wants to go. So, like, who's the odd man out there who can jump in the portal and cash in on his value? I mean, there's a couple of guys up there. They could have a bottleneck at a couple positions on the offensive line. Yeah, Braylon Staley is a guy that I don't know what he is paid in NIL, but he certainly will be able to ask for more. He's closing in on what maybe a 1,000-yard season. He's going to threaten Marcus Nash's single-season record at UT for receptions. He'll be up for, I would say, freshman All-American honors. So that's a guy who can demand more money. I want to see if they play a different running back late in the year. DeJuan Morris there out of Oakland has a chance to get in the mix, because like Star Thomas is your one of your 3 running backs, but he's not coming back. He's done with his eligibility. So at what point do you start to slide younger players in there to see what they have? On the defensive side, I want to see something different at safety. They played a couple of guys there. They have young guys that will be back. You have to sort of gauge how many guys you can count on for next season in that secondary and the linebacking core, because I think they're going to go as heavy as Tennessee does in the portal on the defensive side. And I think there are still question marks about a half a dozen guys there, and playing the last 3 games of the year could change the coach's mind about whether or not they can count on them.
Well, we appreciate your time, buddies. Good to have you back on the show, and looking forward to seeing how things finish up this season.
All right, guys. Good to be on.
That is Adam Sparks of the Knoxville News Sentinel with us on 104.5 The Zone. I can't believe that joke that he made went over your head about him getting his niece a scoop about Tennessee's bye.
Right over.
Pretty good whistle.
That was good. I do not whistle. I have to whistle by like inhaling.
What?
I do. I like that is inhaling. I cannot whistle.
What?
I can't do it. Like I can't.
That's the most freakish thing I've ever heard.
Am I alone?
You are so weird. I mean,
am I alone?
Have you ever met a more perverse, not in the literal sense, but just bizarre creature than Lucas?
Am I the only one?
No, you can do it both ways. Like
you're exhaling there.
Yeah,
and now you're inhaling. See, that's a stronger whistle.
I don't think I could inhale and whistle if I tried.
I think it just depends. Like, well, you probably have too much mustache in the way to have a good dulcet tone.
The beard is strong. I'm thinking about going full mountain man by the end of the year.
I feel like depending on what kind of whistle you're trying to accomplish. Like if you're like that's obviously an exhale. Oh, that sounds terrible.
I did that inhaling.
But then if you want to go like, my lips are. Hold on. Let me get my lips nice and. That was a songbird.
I can do all of that, but only inhaling.
You can't blow and do it?
I can't. I cannot exhale a whistle.
Do your mouth the same way that you would do it inhaling, but go like.
And then I inhale, and it sounds way better.
Yeah, that's
I'm telling you.
This can't be good radio.
Just whistling into the mic.
615-737-1045 is the number if you would like to participate in the remainder of the show. Are you a Vols fan that wants your season over and so you can avoid the potential shame of losing the little brother?
No, man, there's still so much to play for. Like the idea, like for Adam really put it in perspective there where you can win 10 games and it be a disappointing season. Like the things I would have done for 10 wins in 2016, 2015, like it's crazy. The goalposts have shifted. And that in terms of the expectation, and that's because they were successful enough to make them shift. But some of the criticisms are warranted, and he brings up some great points, like the end of game situation against Oklahoma, where Tennessee was unable to get down the field and at least attempt a field goal before the 2-minute to make it a 1-score game. It wasn't good. It was not good. And we saw some of that clock management against Mississippi State and Bama that's popped up along the way this year. But all of that said, if Max Gilbert just makes that field goal that's less than 40 yards against Georgia, you're still a two-loss team, very much in the hunt and potentially controlling your own destiny to the playoff with a quality win against Georgia. So that's what it is right now. But we'll see. It'll be an interesting last few weeks.
We're getting calls on whistling.
Great.
Dane is next.
Hey, Lucas, I agree. I can only whistle if I inhale.
Yes! There are dozens of us.
As a kid. Yep. Hey, but Lucas, go Dogs.
Oh, all right.
Eat it. Somebody's also saying that you woke their dog up because you whistled.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Good boy. Alexa, add.
Don't make eye contact with me when you're doing that.
Alexa, add hemorrhoid cream. Now, hopefully, everyone's
classic.
Why is that your go-to joke? Do you have like a hemorrhoid problem?
No, it's just funny. I think it's a funny cream.
We have added so much. I wonder if Tyler Reese, our buddy over here at 103.3 Country, if he's ever checked his grocery list, because the amount of it, I think I see Tyler sitting out there. The amount of egregious things that we have added. What? His Alexa was sitting out here a time ago, and Robert and I added like 40 things to the grocery list.
We used to just pop out and be like, Alexa, add a gallon of boiled peanuts to my grocery list.
Why does he bring it with him?
I don't know why it was that. It was like playing music or something. I've never asked him.
You freak!
I just saw him in the hall. I'm gonna ask him.
Add Nair. Add 13 cans of Nair. It would be like the most ridiculous quantities, the most ridiculous.
What if he's one of these people that orders his groceries on Amazon and then just ends up with a $1,500 grocery bill because you two idiots are ordering 20 cans of Nair?
Give me can I have, add 4 glasses of clam juice.
Add dry ice to my grocery list.
I forgot we were doing that, dude. If he ever orders groceries off Alexa, the bill is going to be so big.
You know
They're
what?
going to have to bring a pallet to his house.
Under any other circumstance, I would say the two of you are in the wrong, but like what kind of freak brings his Alexa into work to listen to
A
music?
dump truck in his driveway.
When we
most
break,
useless items.
When we break, go out there and add. What would you add? What are you going to add? What are you going to add? 615-737-1045. What should we add to Tyler's grocery?
There is some news.
Find out next. Welcome back to the show. Fueled by Hattie B's Hot Chicken. So the Giants fired Brian Daboll, which is news that you knew. Lucas has different news here in just a second. Mike Kafka, who's been their play caller, has been promoted to the interim head coach. Tim Kelly is going to be the offensive coordinator for the Giants. Shane Bowen, DC. Tim Kelly, OC. Titans fans getting PTSD at this point in time. What is the news that you have?
End of an era in Nashville pro sports, as according to Tom Bogert of The Athletic, Nashville SC is essentially parting ways with defender Walker Zimmerman at the end of the season, which has already happened. His contract is expiring. He enters free agency. Two-time MLS Defender of the Year, obviously was a significant part of the U.S. men's national team lineup at the World Cup a couple of years ago, scored the first goal in Nashville SC MLS history in that Nissan Stadium outing against Atlanta in 2020 in front of 60,000 people. And not only that, John Glennon also reporting that the club is going to let goalkeeper Joe Willis's contract run out too. So end of an era for both of them. They each had option years that could be exercised by the club, and it seems as though, reportedly, that's not going to happen. So Nashville moves on, and just both of those guys, pillars of establishing the club's identity at the early onset to this kind of shift in 2025 to winning the first ever trophy with the U.S. Open Cup. So both Nashville SC legends, seems like their time is over at the club.
Do they have any in-house candidates that could replace them, or is that something they'd have to go into free agency to figure out?
There are in-house candidates, certainly, at the goalkeeper spot. Brian Schwacke, the number 2 goalie all year. He was the goalie for the entire U.S. Open Cup, had a penalty save in the final, so I'm imagining that he'll get a fair shot at that job. We'll see if they bring anybody else in, and I'm sure they'll make some signings when it comes to defenders and center backs specifically, but Jason Palacios in-house, Jack Mayer will probably continue to be pillars of this team. But Walker was a designated player, which in MLS you get 3 designated players that you can pay higher than the salary cap. And this year he was plagued by injuries and 32 years old at this point. So if they were going to bring him back, it was probably going to be on a different structure of a deal and not as a DP. So that gives them some flexibility too, to maybe go find a third of those to supplement the attack or whatever they want to do with it. But, yeah, end of an era for Nashville SC after a successful 2025.
That's what they referred to me in high school as, designated player.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
In what sport?
Just not
The one he pooped himself
the sport
in.
of love. What? I didn't forcibly poop myself. Someone else's inertia.
It was physics.
Yeah.
Pure physics. Both friends of the show, Walker and Joe. That rhymed.
Because they came on one time?
That's right. Walker came on multiple times. Joe, great mustache. One of the greatest mustaches in Nashville sports history. The Mount Rushmore of Nashville sports history mustaches. Jeff Fisher, obviously.
UC Soros.
Yeah, great mustache.
Vrabel. Would you put Vrabel's mustache?
No, not if you're going to put Fisher up there. It's Fisher over Vrabel.
Yeah. I think Joe Willis belongs because he had the mustache throughout. Oh, Forsberg's got a killer mustache.
Oh, Forsberg over UC.
Yeah.
Okay.
D-Hop had a good mustache.
I don't know. See, but like Vrabel went through a
I
mustache.
almost said something wildly inappropriate.
I can't. You'll have to explain to me. I don't even know what you were going to say. Vrabel went through a mustache phase.
No, it's back. I saw it on Sunday. It's back.
Oh, he's got it. Okay. Well,
I love it.
It's back. I saw
Buck's
it.
like, yeah,
he's
I
keeping
check
tabs.
his Snapchat.
Yeah, man's just,
He sent me a
man knows what
Snapchat
Vrabel's
before
doing every
practice.
waking moment.
Like, yeah.
But like,
I'm a Patriots fan now, didn't I tell you?
Forsberg's had the mustache pretty much the whole way. Joe, to me, you got to like, that's just got to be your look. You can't drift in and out to be on the Mount Rushmore. Fish never drifted. He is a mustache man,
Still
and I
rocking it.
respect it.
So what would he look like without a mustache? That would be so jarring.
Who's the fourth? Who's the fourth on the Mount Rushmore? 615-737-1045.
No, we're done for the day. Let's do some polls.
That's a
and get the
poll
hell
for
out of here.
tomorrow.
Oh, there you go. Who is the Mount Rushmore or mustache Mount
man.
Rushmore? Are you talking about summer stuff?
Why didn't my mustache make it?
Yeah.
Polls.
Presented by Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Bob Mueller. Not sports, but
Not
I don't
sports.
care. City of Nashville.
Elite.
Bob Mueller. Well done by Tyler Dial in the YouTube chat. Well
Is that
done.
the washed-up weatherman?
Not a weatherman and not washed up. Bob Mueller is the Channel 2 legend.
I just like that how offended you guys can get over that.
Don't you dare. Also, Leland Statham up there. Great mustache.
Also not washed.
Me
Not
saying
washed.
washed-up weatherman makes you
Nope.
think of him?
Nope. Mustache. Great mustache made me think of him.
Shameful.
What's the dumbest thing in sports this week? Marty says someone asking if LaFleur could be the next Titans head coach.
I don't know. If you're Matt LaFleur, are you really going to come back here? Well, he's got to get fired first.
Yeah,
so we'll
he's
see.
still the coach there.
I just can't imagine going from the former offensive coordinator at a job that you lost to Mike Vrabel to the Packers head coach to back here. You know, to get if you like the circumstance, I guess. But
Who is better in their first 9 starts, Marcus Mariota or Cam Ward? 85% say Mariota.
yeah, it's not even close.
What is your biggest issue with the latest CFP rankings? Congratulations, Buck. You posted this, and it got 0 replies.
What is it?
You got 0 replies.
What was the poll again?
What did you take most issue with the CFP rankings?
People are just happy to see the ACC on the brink of destruction.
No.
I guess Jonathan Schaefer is tired of your mom jokes because
People-
that was a layup.
Yeah, people just don't want to engage with
The
you.
one thing I know about Jonathan Schaefer is that he will beat a joke into the ground.
Those are the polls.
Very good. That's the show. Primetime back.
Oh, Steve Underwood.
Oh, but that's not even a mustache. That's a Lorax.
Yeah.
That is a
He had it on
facial
the
hair.
chin,
Robert,
too.
do you know who Steve Underwood is?
Is he a washed-up weatherman?
Former Titans
Shut
president.
Up. Look a picture up. Google Steve Underwood right now before the show ends. I will filibuster.
Somebody also DM'd me and said, how can you not say Forsberg? I feel like y'all said
already
that.
did.
We did.
Yes.
I do want your organic reaction to seeing
All right,
Steve.
what's his name?
Steve Underwood.
How do you spell
Titans.
it?
It's the most obvious.
Oh, my Lord. Talk about a mouth cover.
Elite.
Why did they ever get rid of this guy?
Oh, he retired.
You know what? Many Titans fans are asking the exact same thing.
They're like connected. It's like a shield
It's
for his
amazing.
mouth.
You've never seen facial hair like Steve Underwood.
Titans
I'm
legend.
so jealous.
An actual Titans legend. The person who kept the franchise from the brink many a time.
It's like one thing. It's like he doesn't have a mouth.
And since he's retired, all they do is spend time on the
Can
brink.
we get him on the show?
No shot.
The chat says Sam Elliott.
That team president knows better than to be doing radio interviews.
God, he does look like Sam Elliott if his mustache ate his chin.
No, you know what a Lorax is? Like the Dr. Seuss thing?
Sure.
He is a human Lorax.
And he wouldn't come on the show to
No
show it all?
shot.
Do you think he's still rocking this? Has anyone seen it?
I hope so, man.
As long as he still walks this earth, he's got that face.
It looks like his lips are made of hair.
He completes the Mount Rushmore.
God. That's incredible.
Blaine and Zach next.
Smashville hockey. Around here, it can sound like a language of its own. But hey, if you can pronounce Demumbrian, then names like Yossi, Shea, and Marchessault will roll right off the tongue. Nashville Predators, only in Smashville.
One of the largest sports books east of the Mississippi, Circa Sports Kentucky, is now open. Catch all your favorite games on an 80-foot screen with stadium-style seating and live VSiN broadcast daily. Circa Sports, now open at the Mint Gaming Hall, Kentucky Downs.
My dad and I used to golf together all the time, but when he hurt his back, it was over.
To have your son want to spend time with you is amazing. That's why my chronic back pain has been so heartbreaking. Surgery, fused bones, long recovery. No way, not for me. A friend recommended stem cells, so I gave Kellum Stem Cell Institute a call.
I'm glad you're out on the course.
Yeah, it's really good.
Call the Kellum Stem Cell Institute today. Swing still looks just okay, though.